is a special presentation of Sun Sports.
The winningest coach in Division I history, Bobby Bowden's Florida State legacy has offered a galaxy of All-Americans, of Heisman Trophy excellence, of national championship heroics. And where are those golden Seminole gridiron greats today?
I'm a sportscaster on TV.
We know where you are, KJ, but where are the other gridiron greats now?
Pat Kerr to the tight end in motion. 2nd down, 7. Toss sweep comes to Sammie Smith. Finds a hole. He's to the 25 to the 30. Makes his cut to the outside. Sammie Smith to the 40, the 45, the 50. Sammie Smith down the sideline and is running out of bounds at the Florida 40-yard line.
I have a wife and 3 kids. I'm living in Lake County, Florida now, and I'm investing in real estate.
And Dane McManus will probably go airborne here. He drops back a couple of steps, looks toward his right, fires, across the middle, catch made, 2-point conversion, Herb Gainer made it.
I just retired from the Canadian Football League, so I need to get a real job. Living in Venice, Florida with my wife and son, that's about all I have for you right now. Until I have a job, I really have nothing, so that's me living in Venice.
We got to go find those guys. In the history of the NCAA, there have been 3 dynasties. The longest and the one that is most dear to my heart is a 14-year reign of top 5 finishes, 10 wins for Florida State University. And it began way back in 1987 with a group of kids that played way above their heads and would later go on, and we'd find out they would be quite the outstanding athletes, both at the college level and in the NFL. We're going to revisit that 87 FSU at Florida game, and I'm joined by some folks that you'll easily recognize. Sammie Smith, running back, good to see you.
Nice to see you too, Ken.
Mr. McManus, Dane McManus, no mustache.
No.
You lost that a while ago?
Comes in about 4 or 5 different colors now.
Understood. And, I told you I was going to do this. Mr. Wham, Dane Williams. Have you ever been able to live that down?
20 years later, they still talk about it, so not yet.
Now, guys, coming into this 87 ball game, you'd never beaten the Gators. You'd lost 6 in a row. What was the mindset, Sammie? Do you remember?
Well, I just recall just the hysteria of the week before the game and not wanting to go out on that Saturday and come back to Tallahassee a loser. We had lost 6 straight, and, we had to turn that around. And what better year than the year we had leading up to that game to turn it around. So we were real excited and pretty much felt like it was a given we were going to take that one.
Danny, the running game was very dominant in 87. Your passing numbers were good, but it was nice being able to hand off to 33 and 49.
It makes your job a heck of a lot easier just to turn around. Like I always say, my best pass was backwards to these guys. It was nice to have that ability not only to throw the football, but to run it forward to get the first down. If we needed 7 yards and it was 3rd down, it wasn't automatic passing for us. We could run it. Those guys up front, the Jason Kuipers, the Joe Ionatas, the Pat Tomlins, those guys are making holes for these guys, and these guys are finding it and making some guys pay for it.
Dane, like me, you grew up in Central Florida. That's Florida territory. You'd been listening to it for a long, long time.
I did. Growing up in Leesburg, it's deep Gator. So I took it for 6 years. And Sammie knows it as well, man. And it's a lot of grief, and there's a lot of pressure on us to turn it around in 87. And we had the team that could do it.
Well, we're going to take a look at the entire game. We're going to start with the kickoff. You stay with us. Florida State at Florida, 1987.
Richie Andrews to kick it away. The left-footed kicker from Fort Lauderdale, a freshman, sends one on a long, long ride. Deep into the end zone. Backpedaling, and no return effort made by Stacy Simmons as the ball hits the inline and kicks into the Seminole Marching Chiefs, who have just entertained this huge crowd with a pregame show and concert with the Florida Marching Band. So the Florida Gator offense will begin at their own 20-yard line behind senior Kerwin Bell at quarterback. The 205-pound senior from Mayo, Florida, has completed 58.7% of his passes this year. His running backs will be Parade All-American Player of the Year Emmett Smith, a freshman from Pensacola Escambia High School, averaging 124 yards a game. And Anthony Williams at fullback, a 224-pound senior. Stacy Simmons and Early Mills are the wide receivers. They double up to the left side, the far side of the field. And on 1st down, Mills comes in motion to the near side. Bell's going to toss the ball ball to Emmitt Smith on a run. He gets to the 25. He's to the 30. He's to the 35 to the 40. Deion Sanders tries to get him. He'll be hit and dropped to the 36-yard line. Emmitt Smith on the first play from scrimmage breaks off right tackle and scoots downfield for a long, long gain.
Well, Gene, they cut off the floor of the linebackers that time. Excellent blocking by the Gators, as Emmitt Smith just traveled 44 yards on the opening play of this ballgame.
And the Gator fans are really making some noise now, and Florida has the momentum on their side. The opening play of the game, Emmitt Smith breaks a long one, and the Gators are knocking on the door. It'll be first down 10 Florida at the Florida State 37-yard line. Deion Sanders cut him off and made the tackle. From the 37-yard line, Bell now with a lot more confidence will drop back and hands off to Emmitt Smith. Smith tries to go right side, will be hit and dropped by Odell Higgins. He gets a yard gain, and that's all. Odell Higgins out of Bartow High School anchors the Seminole defensive line, a sophomore at nose guard. The tackles, Eric Hayes and Thomas Harp. The outside linebackers, Terry Warren and Shelton Thompson. Inside, the Seminoles have seniors Paul McGowan and David Palmer. The secondary has junior Stan Shiver at strong safety, senior Greg Newell at free safety. Martin Mayhew and Deion Sanders are the corners. Second down 9 after a 1-yard pickup from the Seminole 36 now, moving toward our right Florida. Kerwin Bell will play fake and drops back to throw. Fires it outside. The catch is made by the tight end at the 31-yard line. Walter Odom, a senior from Miami American High School, makes the first catch of the game. A 5-yard pickup will bring up third down and 4.
Virginia got Florida State very conscious of the run. Anytime you can establish that, you're going to set up a little bit of passing. That time a nice out pattern by the tight end Walter Odom. Good coverage coming by Stan Schreiber, limited to about a 5-yard gain.
Kerwin Bell begins the game just 76 yards shy of the all-time SEC passing record set by John Reeves here at Florida. Now he's 71 yards shy, and on 3rd and 4, Bell will throw. Has time, he's going to be hit and dropped by blitzing Stan Shiver. Shiver drops him at the 43.
Gene, you can color that play, the secondary coverage, and especially by David Palmer. Bell was looking for Emmitt Smith coming out of the backfield, but Palmer just covered him completely, which allowed Stan Schreiber to come ripping in there for a 10-yard sack.
And that 10-yard quarterback sack by Shiver puts the Gators out of field goal range, and Florida will punt it away. Seminoles have the return on and probably suspect fake. Good center snap, a little high, and here's the kick, a wobbly thing. Fair catch signal for by Deion Sanders at the 11-yard line, and the Seminoles will begin from there. So on the very first possession of the game, the big run of 44 yards by Emmitt Smith, and the Gators come up empty thanks to a superb defensive play by Stan Shiver, a 30-yard punt, and the Seminoles begin at their 11-yard line.
But Gene, I tell you, that first run by Emmitt Smith, I'm sure, got Florida State defense attention and got it immediately. But they did shut him down on 3 consecutive plays following that big run.
Danny McManus, a senior from Dania, Florida, quarterbacks of the Seminoles. Dane Williams and Sammie Smith, all the running backs of the eye. Ron Lewis and Herb Gainer are the wide receivers to either side. McManus on a pitch play fake, wants to throw downfield. He's got Gainer wide open to the 25. Gainer with a nice spin to the 30. Gainer to the 32, and he's going to be swarmed on and clobbered by a gang of Gator tacklers at the 33-yard line. Lewis Oliver and Jarvis Williams, the 2 safeties, made the initial contact and dropped Gainer after a gain out to the 33-yard line. That is a 22-yard pickup by Florida State on first down.
Gee, not a bad read by the Florida State coaching staff. That time the secondary overloaded to the strong side of the formation and wide side of the field. Little play fake in there by McManus. Came out by himself, had Gainer one-on-one and by himself.
From the 34-yard line, first down 10, they give Gainer forward progress to the 34. McManus play fakes again, drops back to throw, has plenty of time, gets the pass away. It's caught by Carter, and he's hit as he got it to the 36-yard line. Gain of a couple of yards, and that's all, as McManus threw under the coverage to tight end Pat Carter. Pat Moyer, inside linebacker, a sophomore from Pensacola Escambia High School, made the tackle. That Gator forward wall has Jeff Roth, a junior at nose guard, Rondi Weston and Henry Brown, a junior and senior respectively at the tackles, James Spear and Clifford Charlton at the outside linebacker positions. Inside, it's Pat Moyer and Gerald Dickens. The secondary, a good one, Ricky Mulberry, Jarvis Williams, Lewis Oliver, and Kerry Watkins. Second down 8 from the Florida State 36-yard line. Seminoles moving toward our left. They put Pat Carter in motion. McManus on a play fake, wants to go upstairs, pumps once, now goes long, downfield, intended for Ronnie Lewis, is open. He makes the catch at the 18-yard line. He hangs onto the ball despite punishment by Lewis Oliver. It is 1st and 10 Florida State at the Gator 18-yard line.
Excellent inside fake by Danny McManus that time, Gene. He completely froze the defense, and a great move by Lewis to get him back. The ball was short. Had it been longer, we'd have had 6, but it went for 46 yards.
And you have to ask the question, how in the world did Ronnie Lewis get away from 2 All-SEC defensive backs, Lewis Oliver and Jarvis Williams?
You do it with great ability and tremendous speed.
1st and 10 Florida State at the Florida 18-yard line. In motion, Carter. McManus, a handoff to Sammie Smith, finds a little daylight. He's going to be hit and dropped as he gets it to the 10-yard line. A gain of 8 yards by Sammie Smith, and he just went right up the gut and dragged a tackler or 2 with him. Gerald Dickens, a senior inside linebacker from Plant City, took the ride of about 3 yards on the back of Sammie Smith.
Gene, I tell you what, that play there showed a tremendous offensive line surge by the Florida State front 5, because by the time Sammie got in there, he didn't meet contact because he'd already picked up 5 yards.
Terry Anthony and Lawrence Dawsey are the wide receivers, and the slot is tight end Pat Carter from the 10-yard line. 2nd down 3. McManus will drop a short drop, fires across the middle, ball batted away at the line of scrimmage and knocked down. Never got to the receiver. Henry Brown reached up with a big paw and swatted at it.
They're trying to hit the receiver on a quick slant-in pattern, but as you call it, Gene, the ball was batted away. That will bring up a 3rd and call it 4 situation.
Spear that got a hand up there and swatted it down, and the Seminoles will face 3rd down and about 3.5, nearly 4. Florida State has to get the ball inside the 8-yard line for a 1st down. Running backs are split in the pro set behind McManus from the 10. Little inside handoff goes to Sammie Smith, and he's cut down as he got to the 9. So the Seminoles will face 4th down and 1.5 yards to go. Pat Moyer made the tackle. And Derek Schmidt will bring the T crew in, and the Seminoles are going to try to get 3. Well, the going gets tough inside the 20-yard line after a long bomb completion from Danny McManus to Ronnie Lewis. And the Seminoles will be trying to take the initial lead of the game as the ball is going to be teed on the far side hash mark in the neighborhood of the 16-yard line. This would be a 26-yard field goal attempt by Derek Schmidt. Good hold by McManus. Kick airborne, and it is good. And Florida State, with 10:10 to go in the 1st quarter, has taken the initial lead 3-0. Richie Lewis now ready to go. Corrigan Freeman, the headhunter on kickoff crew, and here's the kickoff. It's a shorter kick than the first one. Will be bouncing into the end zone, and another bounce or 2, and the Gators are going to down it and take the touchback. Florida State 3, Florida 0. Kerwin Bell and the Florida Gators begin again at their own 20-yard line. Seminole scoring drive began at their own 10, or 11-yard line it was. It sputtered inside the 10 at the 9 of Florida, and Derek Schmidt was true with a 26-yard field goal from the far side hash mark. Saw Derek in pregame warm-ups kicking 55 and 60-yard field goals, of course, with nobody applying pressure. Florida State's defense burned on 1st down from the 20 the last time. Emmitt Smith, the culprit, with a 44-yard gallop. Rayleigh McGrady and Emmitt Smith are the running backs in the eye. McGrady, a freshman from Palatka. Emmitt Smith gets the call, finds a little crease, and he is dropped at the 25. One thing about Emmitt Smith, that if you've watched the Gator offense during the season, he gets good 2nd and 3rd effort. He's a tough running back. They say that Sammie Smith of Florida State is quicker with that 4.35 40 speed. Somewhere around 4.5 to 4.5.5, but he is a tough ball carrier to bring down. He gets 5 yards on 1st down. It'll be 2nd down 5 from the 20. Frazier and Willie Snead are the wide receivers. Frazier to the near side. Kerwin Bell will drop back on 2nd down to throw. Pressure coming, gets the pass away. They get a screen set up for McGrady, and McGrady is going to be hit and dropped as he got it to the 26. Stan Shiver went through 2 blockers and got underneath the stack, and Shelton Thompson came in and lowered the boom. They drop McGrady, the fullback, who takes the screen pass for very little yardage, a gain of 1 yard on the carry.
See, that screen pass was set up very, very nicely, but Shelton Thompson did a tremendous job of recovering after he made his move inside to Kerwin Bell. And when the defensive back came up and slowed down the ball carrier, he was there to make the hit.
3rd down and 4. Facing Florida, moving toward our right, toward the southern end zone. Seminoles threaten the blitz from the left side, and Bell is going to have pressure from Terry Warren. Warren slips down, comes back the other way to try to get pressure. They get the pass away to Emmitt Smith, and he's hit and dropped to the 31, but the Gators get a 1st down by 1 yard. Eric Hayes made the tackle. Terry Warren got through the initial block and slipped down as he put pressure on Kerwin Bell. A gain of 4.5 yards, nearly 5, and the Gators will move the sticks across the way. It'll be 1st and 10, Florida.
See, Florida State is alternating between having 2 linebackers, then taking one of the corner linebackers and dropping, making it into a 4-3. That time at the last minute, Warren snuck up, got a line of scrimmage, and almost got to the quarterback.
Sneed and Frazier are the wide receivers. They double up to the left side, and Kerwin Bell will hand off to Emmitt Smith. Emmitt Smith is going to be hit, nearly stopped. Now he's going to be dragged down to the 28. Eric Hayes got his hands on him, couldn't put the lasso and pull the noose, and then there was Shelton Thompson and Odell Higgins to make the tackle. Loss of 2 on the carry by Emmitt Smith. And the Gators will face 2nd down and 12. The new line of scrimmage will be the 29-yard line.
Good penetration that time by Eric Hayes, a sophomore out of King High School in Tampa. For a big man, Gene, he is awfully, awfully quick.
Dane Williams is checked in at running back. And on 2nd down 12, Kerwin Bell will play fake and drop back to throw. He has time, fires it across the field. The catch is dropped. It is dropped by Ed Frazier. It was in his hands at the 39, all the way across the field. And Deion Sanders was over there, along with help by Eric Williams. It'll be 3rd down and 12 from the Gator 29-yard line. That has been a problem this year with the Florida offense. Dropped passes, although I don't think there would have been much there had the catch been made by Frazier.
They had the ball up, Gene, about 3 yards shy of the 1st down. Tracy Sanders was the defensive back on that side, was a little slow reacting once the ball was in the air.
It will be 3rd down 12, and Kerwin Bell in the shotgun will drop back and roll toward his left. He's rolling toward his left, gets the pass away, and it is going to be caught, and then the tackle is going to be made immediately. And a swarm of Seminoles all over the ball carrier. Eric Williams made the initial contact. And the catch was made by Stacy Simmons. Simmons bobbled it momentarily and drew a big crowd of Seminoles. It'll be 4th down. And the Gators will have to punt it away as Herbert Perry comes in for the 2nd time in the game. A gain of 3 on the catch by Stacy Simmons. Boy, Simmons, a speed merchant. He bobbled it momentarily and allowed the Seminoles to get there. They've got 10 at the line of scrimmage, and they're coming after Herbert Perry, a freshman punter. He stands at his own 17. They nearly get to him, and he gets the kick, a booming, spiraling kick. Deion Sanders will field at the 22. Sanders makes a cut to the 30, to the 31, to the 32, and he's run out of bounds right there. Well, Deion Sanders, with nobody to block for him, he looked at about 9 orange jerseys. Dawson to the near side. Florida State 1st down 10, ready to go at their own 32. McManus at quarterback as running backs are split behind him. Handoff goes to Sammie Smith, makes a nice cut. Sammie slips down as he got to the 35.
Oh, boy.
A gain of 3, and he did not slip down. He may have gotten to the quarter and run all the way. Penalty flag thrown across the way, and let's see what it's all about.
Gene, I think it's going to be against Florida State for illegal procedure. They had a lineman moving just before that ball was snapped, but Sammie had the alley he wanted. He was just trying to cut it to get to that outside where there was a lot of daylight.
It will be a legal procedure on the Seminoles. 5-yard march off will put the ball at the 27. And FSU will face 1st down and 15 from there. Well, against the Florida Gators, you don't want to make many mistakes. You can ill afford to turn it over or get penalized very frequently. Florida, by the way, leads the Southeastern Conference in yards penalized. Good-looking cut by Sammie Smith, but he lost his footing on the AstroTurf. Ronnie Lewis and Herb Gainer are the wideouts of this play. 1st down 15 from the 27. McManus bootlegs, play fakes, looks downfield, looks back across the way, fires it 2, and the ball batted away and intercepted. Florida's got it. They tried to get it to Pat Carter. And Mulberry picks it off, and he's hit by Sammie Smith and dropped at the Florida State 37-yard line. Danny McManus tried to force it through coverage to Pat Carter. The ball deflected and picked off by Mulberry. And the Gators get the first break of the game.
Well, what's the deal?
Well, I think this was a blessing in disguise because it's kind of every time I seem to throw an interception, that's when Coach McDuffie says, all right, we're going to the running game. So it might have been I was just trying to get Coach McDuffie to understand that we need to run the football a little bit more against these Gators, tire them out, and let these guys get some work.
How great is it now that you were removed to hear Deckerhoff and, of course, the late Vic Prenzy. When you're playing, you don't really pay attention to who's doing the radio side, but when you get out, it's very entertaining. Deckerhoff is just a blast, Sammy.
It very is. You know, it really is. Just the idea that Deckerhoff is still doing games, and you know, to still hear Florida State games now and hear his voice, to me, it's just amazing. I don't know if it's been 30, 35 years or however long he's been there, but it's just amazing to hear him call games to this day.
Dane, you had to go against this defense every day in practice. Any concerns when you turned the ball over? I mean,
no, that defense. I mean, when I first got there in '84, they were
tough remembering.
Yeah, they were ranked close to 100th in the country. I mean, I think this year they were in the top 5. They were the best defense you could ever imagine. Balance on both sides of the ball. Stan Shiver, who just made the big sack. I mean, he was the hardest hitting guy on the team. I mean, him and McGowan, David Palmer, that went from fullback to play linebacker. Always has snot coming out of his nose.
Well, they're supposed to, aren't they?
And, so they put fear in you. They would put fear in the opposing team, which is they knew that they were in for a fight.
Florida had enjoyed that 6-win run. A lot of focus on that during the week, Danny. A lot about that talked about.
Especially for us seniors, this was our last shot. We didn't want to be the only group to go every year not beating Florida. And from the senior standpoint, with the Mark Salvas, the Paul McGowan's talking about that, we got to win this game, no matter what. Fiesta Bowl is nice. That's going to be great to go to. But if we don't beat Florida, we're always going to be known as the team or the class that never beat Florida. So it was very important to us.
We should have beat them in '86, and we let the game get away. And we were a young team, and the team came together in '87, and we weren't going to let Florida mess up our season.
Wham play. We're going to see it later on in the fourth quarter. How did that come about? I mean, what's the magic of that?
Yeah, you know, it's pretty. There's a lot of focus on me on that play, but there shouldn't be, because it was pretty easy. You had Pat Tumberland and Pat Carter and Tom O'Malley. Had a great offensive line that I was running behind. And it was only a couple of simple reads that I would do based on where the defense.
Taking advantage of that blazing speed, right?
Yeah, which I always kidded Sammie about that. I said, you know, there's a reason I get to the ball at the goal line, because I want to make him work a little harder and score from outside the 20.
We just use Sammie as a decoy. We put him back there 6 yards, and everyone thinks it's going to him, and then we sneak Dane in and let him have it. So.
Took a lot of grief.
Yeah, he did. I think Dane probably scored about 15, 16 touchdowns that year. And it was an understanding amongst all the skill players, you know, the running backs and receivers, that if you were going to score a touchdown, you better get it from 20 yards in or, you know, somewhere far. You weren't going to get it if you got down to the 2-yard line.
Well, when we come back, Florida State not scoring a lot of touchdowns, a lot of field goals. We're going to pick up with the rest of the action in the first quarter. You stay with us. We did get a
McManus on the bootleg had room to run the ball, but he tried to force the football in there. Gene, I think if he'd have kept that ball, he could have picked up 4 yards and stepped out of bounds.
And the Gators go to work after the first turnover of the game. They've got it first down 10 at the Florida State 37-yard line. Between the 37 and 38. Handoff goes to Emmitt Smith. Hurdles the line of scrimmage. Is going to be hit and dropped as he gets it to the 30-yard line. A gain of 7.5 yards by Emmitt Smith. Good hurdling by Smith off right guard.
Florida gets the first big break of the ball game on a deflected pass. Mulberry put the ball in play. Ball is now resting at the 31-yard line, just shy of the 30. Second down and 2.
Odell Higgins and Eric Hayes in on that last stop. Ernie Mills and Stacy Simmons double up as wide receivers to the left side. Second down 3. Handoff to Emmitt Smith. Finds a little crease. He's got the first down to the 26-yard line. David Palmer, Seminole inside linebacker, a senior out of Tallahassee, Florida High, made the tackle, but not before Emmitt Smith picks up 5 yards. Florida has the football, first down 10 at the Florida State 25-yard line. Thanks to Ricky Mulberry's interception of a Dane McManus pass deflected off the hands of Pat Carter. And Emmitt Smith with a 5-yard carry gets a first down. Injured player on that last play was Anthony Williams. He comes off under his own power. He appears to be okay. From the 25-yard line of Florida State. Handoff, Emmitt Smith. Nice cutback by Emmitt. He's going to be hit and dropped as he gets to the 21. And a penalty flag has been thrown downfield. In the deep secondary, Paul McGowan made the tackle for Florida State. McGowan, a senior out of Winter Park and a Butkus Award finalist. Gain of 4 by Emmitt Smith. Penalty thrown in the deep secondary where Stacy Simmons was working on Deion Sanders.
Hard to say what the penalty is for. Florida State is pointing against the Gators. You would think on that play it's going to be a major penalty.
Today's referee, Paul Schmidt, the umpire, Pete Williams, Joe Pipkin, the linesman, Robert Caldwell, the line judge, the side judge, Ben Oldham, Bob Bernard is the field judge, and the back judge, Charlie Horton. And the penalty is going to be against the Florida Gators, a 15-yarder. A chop block infraction, a 15-yard march off, and Paul Schmidt, the referee, gives the indication. And the 15-yard march off will put the Gators back at their own 40-yard line and nullify a 4-yard gallop by Emmitt Smith.
And I had noticed a chop block on the play before that against Odell Higgins.
And the Gators now penalized 15 yards back to their 40-yard line. Will set up with Ernie Mills and Stacy Simmons, the wide receivers. Simmons to the near side, Mills to the far side. Kerwin Bell will hand off a play fake. No, he hands off to Emmitt Smith. Smith tries to make a reverse cut, and he'll be hit and dropped by the Seminoles as he got to the 39-yard line. It was Kevin Grant that made the tackle. And another penalty flag has been thrown. And the Seminoles may be flagged for a late hit as Greg Newell is beaten along the near sideline.
See, and I think what he's going to get flagged for is for spearing. I think they're going to hit him for using his helmet.
So a 15-yard march off against Florida, and now a 15-yard march off against Florida State. And the ball moves right back to the Florida State 24-yard line. And that should move the chains and give the Gators a 1st and 10 from there.
They haven't moved the chains yet, Jay.
Wayne Williams has checked in at tailback. Emmitt Smith took a helmet from Greg Newell.
Yeah, there the chains going out. It's a 1st and 10. The ball resting at the 24-yard line.
Well, now they're not going to move the chains, so it'll be 1st down and 9. Nope, now they move them. Should move the chains on a personal foul. Here's Kerwin Bell. The handoff goes to the tailback, and he is going to be hit and dropped as he got it inside the 20 for the 17-yard line by McGowan and Newell. That was Wayne Williams, a junior from Titusville, who spelled Emmitt Smith on that last carry.
Florida State will now substitute, bringing back in Terry Warren, Shelton Thompson.
Well, the chain was not moved. It was 1st down and 9, and a gain of 5 will bring up 2nd down and 3. From the Florida State 17-yard line. Kerwin Bell at quarterback is going to hand off to Williams. Tries to make his cut back, and he's going to be hit and smothered as he got to the 15-yard line. Gain of a 1.5 yards. McGowan and Newell made the initial contact. Odell Higgins will be the last guy up from the bottom of the stack, along with Thomas Harp. And the Seminole defense trying to stop the Gators here. It's a 3-0 ball game. Florida State leading Florida thanks to Derek Schmidt's 26-yard field goal. 3:53 to go. This drive by Florida began inside their Florida State 40 after a Ricky Mulberry interception of a Danny McManus pass. Frazier wide to the left side. 2 tight ends set by Florida. 3rd down, 1 yard, maybe 1.5 yards to go. Seminoles stack it up at the line of scrimmage. Handoff goes to Emmitt Smith. He's going to be dragged down by the ankles by Palmer. He gets the 1st down and nearly broke it for the touchdown. It'll be 1st and goal Florida at the Florida State 8-yard line. A 10-yard pickup by Emmitt Smith. And they're really working on the left side of the Florida State defensive line.
Jay, they're getting good creases in that defensive line. Florida State slanting a little bit to the inside. They kicked out the cornerback on that side, or the defensive linebacker.
Ball is spotted at the 6 and not the 8. It'll be 1st and goal from there, Florida. Frazier wide left, 2 tight ends, Florida. They've got Odom and Reynolds in there. Kerwin Bell hands off to Emmitt Smith. He'll be hit and dropped as he got it to the 5-yard line. Shiver came roaring through on the blitz and missed him. And he hit him. He hit him in the backfield. Odell Higgins quickly from his nose guard position angled left and made the tackle.
And I think Florida State is probably doing a little bit more of their slanting in this ball game, and I've seen it in quite a while.
Florida State 6th in the country against the score. allowing just 12.1 points a ball game. Frazier wide left. 2 tight end set. From the 5-yard line. 2nd down goal. Gators. Kerwin Bell. Toss sweep to Emmitt Smith. They try to string it out to the right side. And Emmitt Smith is going to go into the touchdown. Florida scores the go-ahead touchdown at 6-3.
Gene, that time Florida State was trying to anticipate and gamble where they were going with the sweep. They brought the strong safety, Stan Shiver, over to the left side, and he blitzed. Unfortunately, they swept away from him, and there was not enough strength over there to take on the number of blockers.
And Emmitt Smith puts the Gators on top for the first time in the game. 2:21 to go first quarter. It is 6-3 Florida. Florida capitalizing on the first turnover of the game. The point after try, airborne and good by McGinty, and the Gators lead 7-3. Here's the kickoff. It is going to be a short kick fielded by Keith Ross at the 8-yard line. Ross just gets it to the 20, makes a cut to the 25, and he's cut down to the 26. Well, the going's tough on those special teams. Both of these schools, Florida State and Florida, take pride in their special team play. And the pounding was pretty rugged as Keith Ross got it out to the 26-yard line.
Last time Florida State had the football, they had their only miscue of the ball game. A turnover on a deflected pass that Dane McManus tried to force. Gators capitalized and turned it into a touchdown.
And Dane McManus and the Seminole offense are going to try to get things going. Dane will have Dane Williams and Sammie Smith lined up in the eye behind him. First down 10 from the Seminole 26-yard line. A lot of noise at Florida Field. McManus wants to go airborne on first down. Pumps the shoulder, now throws downfield. It is going to be picked off. Penalty flag throw.
Now, Gene, I tell you what that flag is going to be for. The receiver, Gainer, was knocked out of bounds. And once he got knocked out of bounds, he could not come back into the playing field.
And the Seminoles are jumping up and down. I tell you, Tony Yeomans comes out of that huddle over there by Paul Schmidt and the other official, and he's pointing toward the Gators.
I think maybe what may have happened out of it, he may have been knocked out of bounds by a defensive back, but after the first 5-yard cushion.
Seminole coach Bobby Bowden sort of wanders down over where the officials are conferring. And the laundry is picked up, and let's see who the flag is going to be on. It will be pass interference on Florida, and that will be a 15-yard penalty against the Gator defense.
Again, Gene, I think he was knocked out of bounds, but when he was knocked out of bounds, it was after the allotted yardage that you can hit a receiver once he releases from the line of scrimmage.
Junior Lewis Oliver, the free safety, apparently the culprit. He is a junior NFL grade. Big free safety, 222 pounds, 6'2", and he is an honors student at the University of Florida. 15-yard march-off will give the Seminoles first down at their own 41-yard line. Dawsey wide to the near side, and Anthony wide to the right side. Running backs are in the pro set with Carter in the slot to the right. Now he's in motion, coming back to his left. McManus play fakes, drops back to throw, looks across the way, throws downfield, intended for Darcy. Darcy is deep and goes up for the ball. It's incomplete. Good coverage by strong safety Jarvis Williams. It's tough to beat the Gators deep with the speed of Williams and Oliver in the secondary, and Kerry Watkins is no slow guy and one of the corners. Like the slowest in the secondary may be Ricky Mulberry, a senior out of Palatka.
You know, I'm a little surprised that the game plan is to try to throw the ball deep. That time he had Pat Carter open on the left side. Would have been a dangerous throw, though.
Incomplete passes. McManus went long to Dawsey. Lewis and Gainer are back in there at wide receivers. Second down 10 from the Seminole 41. Carter in motion. McManus on a delay handoff to Dane Williams. Williams busts over right tackle and gets it out to the 43. A gain of 2, and that's all. Well, he tried to get motoring, but Dane Williams was undercut and dropped as he got to the line of scrimmage. He leans forward for a gain of 2, and the Seminoles will face third down and 8. I don't think the game plan calls for getting third and long against this rugged Florida defense.
I wouldn't think so, Jim. I'm surprised that Florida State has not tested and tried to establish the running game.
Florida State facing third and long. Third and 8 from their own 43. McManus trying to audibilize. A lot of noise at Florida Field. He'll drop back, a deep drop, looking for pressure. Going to be pressured and sacked at the 31. Clifford Charlton record the first quarterback sack of the game by the Gators, an 11-yard loss. And the guy that got to him first was Huey Richardson. Charlton was the second guy. It'll be 4th and 21 from the 31 of Florida State. And Rick Tootin's going to punt it away from his own 12. 17 gets a block punt. Blocked by Richardson. It'll be knocked on the ground, fielded by Dane Williams. Still loose football, and the Gators have come up with another big play. Tootin with a high center snap, and Richardson with a block. And Florida's got it 1st and goal inside the 10.
Right now, Gene, Florida State is going to be really tested because they are now facing a very aroused and very emotional Gator football team.
Well, Huey Richardson gets a quarterback sack and comes up with a blocked punt. And that is the first punt blocked on Florida State this year. It'll be 1st and goal Florida at the Seminole 9.
Huey was the only guy rushing on that play, Gene.
They had a return set up, and the high center snap from Marty Riggs allowed Richardson just enough time to get in and block it. 1st down goal Florida from the 9-yard line. Irwin Bell needs quiet. The crowd responds to his wishes. From the 9, in motion, Frazier from left to right. Handoff goes to Emmitt Smith. Smith tries to get outside. He'll be hit and dropped at the 4. A gain of 5. It was McGowan that made the hit and dropped it. Angling to the far side of the field. 2nd down goal, Florida, from the Seminole 4. Florida State has been their own worst enemy so far in the game. 12 seconds to go in the first quarter. That may be the last play of the period. Florida will take into the second quarter a 7-3 lead, and they knock on the door. That's the end of the first period.
Guys, I hope that's the end of the quarter. That was ugly. What's going on?
Well, that's not the way we wanted to start this game. We kind of maybe been a little too excited. Things weren't going the way we wanted to. We're having interceptions. We're having mistakes just on our part as far as guys getting too jacked up. And I think after this quarter, offense got to one side, defense got to one side and said, let's just play our game. And then things started rolling the right momentum the way we wanted it to.
Sammie, way back when, much rivalry between you and Emmett. You both came into the ball game over 1,000 yards. You would ultimately end up with the single-season rushing record, as would he later on in his career. Any Pensacola-Apopka rivalry there?
For me personally, no. My main focus was to win the game. Like I said, we had lost, I think, 6 games straight, and all I wanted to do was leave there victorious. That was my main concern, was for our team to leave there victorious and to beat the Gators. I was tired of hearing about them beating us every year, so I didn't care if I, rushed for 15 yards or 100. It didn't matter as long as we left there winners.
Dane, quite a group of running backs that you were a part of there, both at the tailback and the fullback position.
Yeah, we were. I was talking to Coach Sexton about that. We were as deep as Florida State's ever been at running back. I always kid. I mean, I started over Marion and Edgar that year, and they had a little better pro career than I ever had. Had a lot more talent than I had as well. Had to work pretty hard to stay in front of them, but we were deep. I mean, we had Keith Ross and Dexter Carter and Victor Floyd, Chris Parker. So you had a multitude of running backs behind Sammie at tailback that could really run the ball.
Danny, we hear a lot and we know a lot about Florida State throwing the ball down the field, your wide receivers. We'll talk about them in a little bit. But the backs out of the backfield, that was a big part of this offense in the mid to late 80s.
Yeah, just with the skills that these guys had once they got the football. And from the offensive staff, we were looking to get the ball to them any way we can, either by just handing it to them or with the swing routes and get them in open space. These guys in open space are deadly. One-on-one tackling is not going to happen. They're going to make that first guy miss. And for our offense, that's what we want to do, spread it out a little bit more and get these guys in spaces where they can make some things happen.
And Danny used Pat Carter. Yep. All year. I mean, he threw to the tight end, and Pat was a big part of our offense. Yeah. He was the best blocking tight end in the country, bar none. And then he could also catch, and he was a big boy. Exactly.
Changing gears a little bit, I don't know about you guys, I hated that turf. I hate that AstroTurf stuff.
I don't even like the whole stadium. I mean, I don't even worry about the turf. The whole stadium I didn't like. So I mean, they call it the swamp now, but back then it was just nasty. It was just the whole thing was not a very good stadium to be a part of.
Well, that turf caused a severe injury with Johnny White.
Yeah, later on, he sure did.
Yes. He broke his leg in multitude of places, and and changed his career that he had at Florida State going.
Well, I never complained about the turf. It made me faster.
You couldn't be faster.
It made me faster. I never really had any problem with running on the turf, and it even made Dane, who was probably a 4.940 guy, run a little faster too.
Come on.
He was even faster too.
When we come back, we're going to take a look in the second quarter. The first quarter belonged to Florida. Second quarter, FSU. You stay with us.
Second down goal, Kerwin. Bell over to center. He'll hand off to Emmitt Smith. Smith tries to get to the outside. He's going to get to the 1. He lunges. Touchdown, Florida. Second effort by Emmitt Smith. He was hit at the 3 by Newell and then lunged into the end zone. And it's 13-3 Florida. First play of the second quarter.
Gene, that was a situation where Emmitt Smith was going left. Florida State had to contain. They forced him back in. Unfortunately, the pursuit overran him. He just cut him back to the pursuit.
Emmitt Smith's second touchdown of the game. Florida builds a 13-3 lead. Thanks to 2 big defensive plays by Mulberry and Richardson. Point after try by McGinty out of Fernandina Beach. He is a senior. Good center snap on the tee. The kick airborne and good. And with 14:55 to go in the second quarter, it is a 14-3 lead. Florida Gators have just gone 9 yards in 2 plays after a block punt. In 37 seconds, Emmitt Smith's second touchdown. It is 14-3. Here's the kickoff by McGinty. Fielded by Keith Ross at the 3. Ross to the 10 to the 15. He's going to be hit and dropped as he got it to the 17-yard line. Good special team coverage by Florida. And the Seminoles begin shy of their own 20-yard line. Dane McManus and the Florida State offense trying to get something going.
Gene, it's going to be very important. With 14:48 to go here in the second quarter, Florida State start putting together some drives. Take some of that pressure off of the defense.
Huey Richardson has been the defensive hero so far with a quarterback sack, the 37th turned in by the Gator defense. And the Seminoles are ready to go from their own 17. Marion Butts and Dexter Carter are the running backs. Sammie Smith it is. Smith finds a little hole, gets it to the 20, to the 21, and he's swarmed on and dropped by the Gators. A gain of 4 by Sammie Smith, who began the game just 20 yards shy of becoming the all-time leading single-season rusher in Florida State football history. Pat Moyer, sophomore from Pensacola Escambia High School, made the tackle. Moyer and Dickens are the inside linebackers. Huey Richardson and Clifford Charlton are the outside backers so far. Richardson did not start the ball game, but boy, his presence has really been felt by the Seminoles. Second down. And 6.5 yards to go, nearly 7. The ball just across the 20-yard line. Hand off to Marion Butts, and the big fullback bangs his way ahead for a couple of yards. Clifford Charlton, senior from Tallahassee, made the initial hit. Has 23 career sacks coming into the ball game, and Marion Butts pounds his way ahead for a gain of 4. It'll be 3rd down, and a long 2.5, nearly 3 yards to go for the Seminoles. 13:43 to go, second quarter. Florida leading Florida State 14-3. Schmidt got the Seminoles on the board first. Big 3rd down conversion coming here for Florida State. McManus, play fakes, drops back to throw. Gets the pass away to Sammie Smith. Sammie Smith looks for a block, gets it to the 30. Sammie makes a nice cut to the 35, still at his feet to the 40-yard line. And the Seminoles get a big first down. Sammie Smith running with reckless abandon. Bouncing off would-be tacklers, and the big kid from Apopka hits the first down and some. Dickens and Mulberry made the hit, but not before Sammie Smith on the swing pass had gotten the gain of 16 yards.
Gene, that was a quick screen to the left side. He had good blocking out there, cut the ball on full momentum and turn it upfield, as you call it, Gene. Good moves and good power.
13:09 to go, second quarter. Florida State moving toward our right in the second period. Slot man left side is Pat Carter. Running backs are in the pro set. Carter in motion. Handoff goes to Marion Butts. Butts finds a little crease. He's still digging and dragging a tackler with him to the 43. A gain of 3 yards by Marion Butts. So the Seminole offensive line trying to get some momentum on the side of the guys in gold pants and gold helmets right now. Lewis Oliver and Jarvis Williams made the tackle, and bringing down Marion Butts is not easy. He is a sophomore that goes 6'1", 245 out of Sylvester, Georgia. Gain of 3 by Butts will bring up second down 7. Terry Anthony and Lawrence Dawsey are the wide receivers. 14-3 score. Gators lead by 11. Handoff goes to Sammie Smith. Makes a nice cut. Sammie to the 50. Sammie to the 46-yard line of Florida. He's got another Florida State first down.
Well, right now, Gene, Florida State's offensive line looks like they're beginning to exert themselves. Good-looking hole on the right side. Picked up some excellent blocking on that side from Tomberlin, Yeomans, and Carter for 11-yard pickup.
Sammie Smith very close to becoming the all-time single-season rushing leader. Needed 20 yards to get there, and he now has 22. So he betters Greg Allen's single-season rushing mark by a yard. Dexter Carter in a tailback to spell Sammie Smith. First down, 10 Florida State at the Gator 46. Movement before the ball was snapped. McManus is going to fall on the ball. And it looked like it may have been offsides on Florida. Coming right across center Mark Salva.
Jeff Roth jumped. So they will mark off, I believe, 5 yards against the Gators.
Very important that Florida State put points on the board and try to get close, as the Gators have built a 14-3 lead thanks to 2 big mistakes by Florida State. A pass interception and a block punt. Third penalty of the game on Florida for 35 yards. 11:49 left in the second quarter. And the clock starts with the Seminoles facing first down and 5. Dexter Carter in the season has carried the ball 97 times for 568 yards. He is spelling Sammie Smith. The line of scrimmage now, the Gator 41. Florida State. Handoff to Dexter Carter. Carter finds a little hole. Burst outside to the 35, to the 30. He's cut down as he got it to the 34. Dexter Carter with an 11-yard gallop. And the Seminoles get another first down. Bill Lang, defensive back from Castleberry, made the hit and dropped Dexter Carter as it looked like he was bottled up on the line of scrimmage, but he springs out of there and gets 12 yards, not 11. And the Seminoles move the sticks again. It'll be first down, 10 Florida State at the Florida 29-yard line. Ball just inside the 30. Lawrence Dawsey and Terry Anthony are the wide receivers. Tight end Tom O'Malley. Handoff Marion Butts finds a hole. Butts keeps his balance and gets it inside the 25 to the 24, but they're going to say his knee hit at the 26-yard line. So a gain of 3.5 yards by the big fullback out of Sylvester, Georgia. Put his hand down and tried to keep his balance as Rondi Weston, a junior from Belgrade, hit him and undercut him.
Gene, again, good offensive line blocking on the left side. Butts went through clean. Got just a little nicked on the foot there and lost his balance. Second time today that's happened. If he could just get his legs a little bit higher to keep that balance.
Second down, 6.5 yards to go. Call it second down 7 from the Gator 26. McManus on a handoff to Dexter Carter. Looks for a little hole, finds a little crease, and he bangs into his own blocker and digs ahead to about the 21-yard line, a 22. A gain of 4 by Dexter Carter, and now Ronnie Lewis and Herb Gainer will check in along with Pat Carter. And Dave Roberts, the Seminoles, will face 3rd down and 2, about 2.5 yards needed, so the Seminoles will go with a pair of tight ends. They'll have Marion Butts and Dexter Carter as the running backs. Big 3rd down conversion again for Danny McManus of the Seminoles. Running backs are in the pro set. 2 tight ends set, 1 wide receiver, Ronnie Lewis. And play fake by McManus. Looks downfield, pumps once, now throws it downfield, intended for, and the ball batted away. Knocked away by Jarvis Williams. So a nice fake initially by McManus. Gators thinking run, but he couldn't find an open man. Good coverage by the Gator secondary and man coverage. And the Seminole kick crew will check in with Derek Schmidt. And they're going to try to get 3 on this drive.
Gene, they tried to get the ball at Dexter Carter. They were in split backs. They faked a sweep coming out to Marion Butts. Unfortunately, Dexter Carter was picked up very nicely on the corner by the cornerback. There was no one to throw the ball to.
Derek Schmidt will attempt a 39 or a 38-yard field goal. McManus to hold at the 28. Marty Riggs with a center snap. Good center snap. Here's the kick by Schmidt. Long enough, and it is no good. Wide to the left side. So the Seminoles miss a golden opportunity. It's still 14-3. Florida's got it, and they're ready to work. Kerwin Bell brings them up at the 22-yard line of Florida, moving toward our left in the second quarter. Kerwin Bell play fakes and wants to go airborne. He's got plenty of time. Protection now starts to break down. He's going to be pursued by Higgins and sacked at the 18-yard line. Odell Higgins fought off a couple of blocks and with good lateral pursuit drags down Kerwin Bell as he tried to gallop to the right side. A loss of 5. Seminole defense trying to make something happen now. Little draw play goes to Williams, and he'll be hit and dropped by Eric Hayes.
Florida State is bringing in their nickel package. They will have 5 defensive backs in there.
8:22 left of the second quarter. Florida leading Florida State 14-3. 2 Emmett Smith touchdowns. Willie Snead wide to the right side. Ernie Mills wide to the near side. The 3rd down, 14 yards to go from the Gator 17-yard line. Blitz. 7:47 left in the second quarter. Florida State has the ball after a 41-yard Herbert Perry punt and a 3-yard Deion Sanders return at the Florida State 37-yard line. Gainer and Dorsey are the wide receivers. Gainer to the near side. Danny McManus has his running backs on the eye. Toss sweep goes towards Sammie Smith. Smith tries to get outside, now makes his cut. Sammie Smith to the 42-yard line, and he's cut down after a gain of 5. Sammie Smith hit by Jarvis Williams and others. Joey Nicoletto in there, an inside linebacker, seeing his first playing time of the day. 7:23 left. 2nd down, 5, facing Florida State. They line up with Edgar Bennett as the fullback. Sammie Smith, the running back. They're on the eye behind Danny McManus. In motion, Pat Carter, the tight end. McManus hands off to Sammie Smith, looks for a hole, finds a little crease, and he gets too close to the 1st down. Had to get it across the 47, and I think he did. Sammie Smith looking for a hole that really didn't materialize, and he just took a little tiny stutter step and got through. 14-3 the score. Gators lead by 11. Ronnie Lewis wide to the near side. Terry Anthony wide to the far side of the field. In the slot is tight end Pat Carter. On 1st down 10 from the 43-yard line. Handoff goes to Edgar Bennett. Bennett finds a little daylight. Bennett makes his cut to the 40. Bennett to the 36-yard line. And the Seminoles get a big run by the freshman from Jacksonville Lee. James Spear, a freshman from Miami Carroll City High School, lassoed him and brought him down. But a quick opener by the fullback gets a good gain all the way out to the Gator 36-yard line. A gallop of 16 yards by Edgar Bennett.
Gene, if there is a difference between Bennett and Butts and Williams, it's the quick start and acceleration of Edgar Bennett. That time the same play had been run, and he exploded through there.
Seminoles have Bennett and Sammie Smith. They'll line up in the eye behind Danny McManus. Anthony and Dorsey are the wide receivers. 1st down 10 Florida State from the Gator 36-yard line. Blitz threatened. Handoff goes to Sammie Smith. Makes a nice cut. Sammie Smith with a good shank set. He lifts the tackler. He's to the 25. Still on his feet to the 24-yard line. And a penalty flag is thrown. Maybe a late hit on a Florida Gator as Sammie was down.
Gene, I think it's going to be a call against the Seminoles. I believe they're looking at Terry Anthony for a clip downfield.
Florida State on the move now with Sammie Smith galloping 10 yards. The penalty will nullify the run, however.
Well, the run will stand, but I think they'll mark off the penalty from there. And that's what they'll do. It'll bring up.
It was an 11-yard run by Sammie Smith. And they'll mark it off from the point where the clip occurred. And the Seminoles will face first and 13 and a half.
Sammie Smith will go to the sidelines.
Boy, Sammie and Edgar Bennett with some good running on this drive. 6:04 left in the second quarter. Florida State moving toward our right in the second period, trailing 14-3. Dawsey wide left. And Terry Anthony to the near side. And the slot right side is Carter. Now he's in motion. That's Pat Carter. Here's a play fake by McManus. Wants to go upstairs. Fires it downfield. Catch made by Dawsey at the 26-yard line. And he should have a Florida State first down. Clock continues to move. Let's see if they're going to give him the first down and stop the clock.
No, they're going to call a timeout. No, they're going to give it to him, Gene.
It is a first down, and that will stop the clock with 5:34 to go in the second period. McManus threw it low, and Dawsey out of Dothan, a freshman, with a great catch. Jarvis Williams was right on top of him. 14-yard pass completion, good enough for the first down. It'll be 1st and 10, Florida State at the Gator 26. Seminoles have been here before, but they've not been able to get it in the end zone. Running backs are split, Carter and Bennett. And McManus hands off to Dexter Carter, the little guy. Looks for a block. He finds a block, gets outside of the open. He's to the 20, spins. He's still on his feet to the 15-yard line, and he's got another Florida State first down. An 11-yard gallop by Dexter Carter behind Tony Yeoman. Yeomans was blocking in front, and he played off the block nicely before Huey Richardson, a freshman out of Atlanta Lakeside High School, could bring him down. So the Seminoles have something cooking now. It'll be first down 10 at the Florida 14-yard line.
So far in the first half, McManus has hit 5 out of 9 passes for 102 yards. In the rushing department, you're looking at Dexter Carter has carried the ball 3 times for 26 yards. Sammie Smith has carried 5 times for 33.
Carter and Bennett are the running backs in the eye. Wide receiver to either side, Lewis and Gaynor. From the 14-yard line, handoff to Bennett. Bennett's going to be hit. Good defensive play by Florida up the middle as Rondi Weston, junior tackle, hit Bennett before he could get going. And the Seminoles will lose a yard on the carry by Edgar Bennett. Sammie Smith will check back into the Seminole huddle. Inside 5 minutes to go in the first half. Florida State trailing 14-3.
Looks like McManus is still waiting for the play to come in. Now been signaled in.
Play clock down to 16 seconds. Still plenty of time to break the huddle, get the play in. Herb Gaynor wide left. Ronnie Lewis wide left. Second down to 11 from the 15. 6 seconds on the play clock. Now they're down to 4. Danny McManus hands the ball off to Sammie Smith. Stays on his feet. Breaks the tackle to the outside. Sammie Smith to the 12-yard line. A gain of 3. And that will bring up third down and 8.
Sammie Smith carries. Gene, the question now is going to be, will Florida State stay in a 4-down situation? Or will they, obviously, we're going to try a pass play here to try to get the first down. And then go for the field goal. Or they're going to try to keep 2 plays and try to get the first down and hopefully 6 points.
Florida State needs a touchdown, trailing 14-3. Derek Schmidt missed a 36-yard or 38-yard field goal earlier. Sammie Smith will check out, so apparently the Seminoles are going to go to the air because Dexter Carter checks in, a better receiver. And they're going to hear a lot of noise. 3:18 to go in the second quarter. McManus ready to go from the 12-yard line. Third down and 8. McManus drops back to throw. Pumps once, fires, catch is made, and the Seminoles will be shy of a first down. The catch was made by Carter, the tight end, at the 7-yard line. Good for 5 yards, and the Seminoles are going to be shy of a first down by 2, maybe 3 yards. It will be 4th down and 3. Florida State trying to get 3. They scored the first points of the game. Derek Schmidt with a short field goal. This one will be a 24-yard effort from the near side hash mark out of the hold of Danny McManus. McManus waiting for the snap. The hold on the tee, the kick airborne by Schmidt, and it is good. And the Seminoles get 3 points on that drive to cut the Gator lead to 8. It is 14-6. That's
1987, Florida State at Florida. It's 14-6. I'm Keith Jones. I'm joined by Sammie Smith and Danny McManus and Dane Williams. And guys, you're 2 for 3 offensively, 2 for 3 on field goals, and you're down. What's going through your mindset there, Danny?
Well, I think let's get to halftime. Let's hurry up and get this half over with. Derek missed a field goal, and me being a holder is because the laces were out. So I take full blame for that. So the next one that he made, that was me putting it on the right way. But I think we just needed to get some kind of points on the board, and we got that just before the half. And going into halftime, I think each of us knew Coach Bowden was going to go after us in the locker room. And no surprise, he did that. He got our attention pretty quick.
At the time, guys, you look at Lawrence Dawsey, you look at Edgar Bennett, you look at Dexter Carter. I mean, Edgar's in the NFL coaching. Both Dawsey and DC are at Florida State. Did they have a propensity to kind of stand themselves out in terms of leadership and what you thought they would do later on?
Well, those were young guys at the time. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Edgar was a freshman, a true freshman, I think. And Dexter and Dawsey were redshirt freshmen, or, they were all young players. But big-time players and able to make big plays, and they did stand out. They were really hard workers, so it's no surprise that they're coaching on the levels that they're coaching now. No surprise at all to me.
I tell you, a part of that, too, is that this whole team was even keel, and we never got rattled. This team had a talent to, even under pressure, even when we were behind, when things aren't going right, not to be rattled. And those guys coming in as freshmen in those situations where a lot of pressure's on the line. Edgar had a big game.
Yeah.
Edgar played extremely well for a freshman.
You come into this ball game with one loss. It was a 1-point loss to Miami. Miami would later go on to win the national championship. How does that play into that sequence of mindset? Do you remember the week after Miami, for example?
That game, we didn't realize how big that game was even at the time. I mean, now 20 years later, you look at it, and it goes down as one of the best games in college football history. And you look at all the talent that was on the field during that Miami game. Coach Bowden told me that there was more professional ball players on that field between those two teams than any game he's ever been involved in. So that was just setting us up, but we were disappointed. But we got over it, and we thought that we would have the opportunity to play again for the national championship. It was the only thing we needed was for Miami to slip up, and we had to win the rest of our games. And we did our part, and Miami just never slipped up.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That game really taught us resilience as a team, and I can say probably going into halftime of this Florida game that the coaches were more nervous than the players were. We were battle tested, and we were patient, and there was never a doubt in my mind, and I'm sure these guys' mind, that we were going to come out the second half and stick that ball down Florida's throat and leave there with a victory.
And the coaches were dealing with 6 losses. We were only dealing with 3.
That's why they might have been a little more nervous.
Well, when we come back, we're going to look at the rest of the first half, FSU at Florida in 1987.
The Gators punted on their next possession. It's FSU ball late in the second quarter.
It'll be 3rd down and 3. Incomplete pass stops the clock with 22 seconds left of the half. The line of scrimmage to the Gator 41. Away, caught by Carter. He's got the first down. He was really hit and punished by Charlton and others, but that'll stop the clock with 14 seconds. And the Seminoles get the first down, going to the big guy from Sarasota.
Jim, with 14 seconds to go, they will probably be able to get off without any delay 2 plays.
Well, the Seminoles have taken a timeout. That is their final timeout. They have none left, so they're going to have to get it in the end zone, Vic.
End zone, or possibly get an out pattern where the ball could be caught and stepped out of bounds. They cannot go over the middle shy of the goal line. Well, they've had the conference on the sideline now.
They've called a couple of plays.
A couple of plays, Ian, but you know that the Gators secondary is going to be looking for any passes near the sideline, or passes are going to go out of bounds.
Well, Florida's got their nickel package in there, 5 defensive backs. They know the Seminoles have got to throw to get it close. Gainer and Lewis are the wide receivers. 2 running backs out of the pro set. Dexter Carter and Dane Williams both can catch. And McManus will get the protection he needs to set up, and now he throws. Downfield toward Gainer. Makes the catch. He's shoved out of bounds. Gainer caught the ball and was shoved by Oliver and could not get his foot down in bounds.
Well, there's 6 seconds now, Gene. You take the ball and throw it to the end zone.
Well, Oliver shoving Dexter Carter, and he could get a flag. All-academic SEC performer. That's not very smart. 6 seconds to go, and Derek Schmidt's going to try a long 53-yarder right now. Seconds to go. Gators are going to come right up the middle and try to block it. Good center snap. Here's the kick, airborne, and long enough by Schmidt. It is good by Derek Schmidt, a 53-yarder.
And that is the thing you look for going at halftime, something to get Mo on your side of the bench. 53-yard attempt by Derek Schmidt, and he nailed it.
And it's 14-9 at halftime. It's been a war at Florida Field.
Denny must have got the laces right on that one.
Yeah, I mean, Derek's an outstanding kicker. He proved that. It's just a matter of me putting the ball in the tee the right way and let him put it through the pipes. But those were some big points. We needed them getting into before we're going into halftime.
14-9 at halftime. What that reminds me of is Bowden cannot give his famous speech to the defense. Y'all remember what the speech to the defense is at halftime?
I don't. What's the speech?
Men. Defense.
Oh,
men.
Yeah.
They don't score.
We win. Yeah, I remember that one.
Dane, you grew up in Central Florida. We talked about. Tell us how you got to Tallahassee.
Well, I actually went out of college for the first semester to play baseball at South Florida Junior College. I was more of a baseball than football, and my father-in-law today, who wasn't back then, Larry Moy, talked me into going to Florida State to either play baseball or football. So I ended up walking on. I wasn't highly recruited by Florida State, and as a free safety, I think I was 15 on the depth chart. And they one practice, Sammie, I don't know if he was really hurt or if he was hurt, but all the running backs got hurt, and they didn't have anybody to run the ball on a goal line tackling drill. So Coach Bowden asked for volunteers, and I thought it was better than what I was doing sitting on the sideline. So I went and volunteered to run the ball, and the next day at a scrimmage, they didn't have a tailback, so I actually ran tailback during the scrimmage. After that scrimmage, Coach Bowden asked me to move to fullback and gave me a scholarship, and that's how my career started at Florida State.
Those goal line scrimmages were fun too.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, it's just a big cloud of dust.
Yeah, going against McGowan and all those.
Speaking of McGowan, Butkus Award winner that year. I mean, he was a guy I always thought that got absolutely everything out of his talent.
Oh, he used everything, and it proved that if you work hard at practice, it pays off in the game. He did it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, in the weight room, on the practice field, in the film room, and it showed up on the game field.
He could come out of his hips at a dead standstill and stop anybody better than anybody on our team.
And I can remember McGowan from high school. You know, he was one of my rivalries in high school. We played them in a playoff game in '84, I think it was, right before he went to Florida State, and he had that same type of ability at Winter Park High School that he brought to Florida State. So,
Not too bad a defensive line there with Eric and Odell, and made your life a little miserable during spring at least, didn't it?
well, spring I was usually running track.
Oh, you talked to the wrong guy about spring practice.
I left the spring practice to these guys here. But, you know, that's just a testament. You know, Eric Hayes, Odell, these guys were all a part of the class of '85. And Deion Sanders, Pat Tomlin, we had a ton of guys that came in my freshman year there. And what you're seeing in '87 is, I think, the birth of something great from that class. That's when you're starting to see these guys really put it together.
It began the dynasty.
It did.
Deion went on to be a little good, too.
Deion was a great player, great teammate.
You know, that's the one thing, and Stan Shiver, well, I was pretty close to him when he was playing, and, you know, I'd pull him aside and I'd say, tell me about Deion. He said, the one thing you can say about Deion is he works.
Oh, yeah.
He might have been a superstar.
That's right.
But there was a reason he was a
That's
superstar.
Right. That's right.
And he went through a lot of pain with Coach Andrews during stretch periods. Coach Andrews would get on his back and try to get him to touch his toes. It just every day, Coach Andrews was on him, making Deion stretch, just to get him faster. And he was fast already, but I mean, just much work that Coach Andrews did on Deion. Deion took it, every bit of it, and made himself a lot better.
It was amazing. You had a guy here that could run 4.240. And it was stiff as a rock. And I used to always tell him, come out for track, you know, and let's get some flexibility. Man, there's no telling how fast you can run if you learn how to stretch.
Well, he gets an interception in this ball game, I believe, and not at least in the bowl game because it didn't count. He always brings that up. When we come back, we're going to enter into the second half. Florida State at Florida, 1987.
Florida State in a hole, down 14-9.
Gainer down 14-9. I'm very surprised that they're only down by 5 points. They've had the two major turnovers, and here we go.
Here we go. The kick by McGinney is a deep one. Ross will field a yard deep in the end zone, and he wants to bring it out. Ross to the 15. Ross is going to be hit and knocked backwards as he got to the 18-yard line. And boy, was he pounded. He was really hammered. Willie McGrady was down on kick coverage along with John Spirito, and those two really sandwiched Keith Ross, who tried to bring it out from a yard deep in his own end zone. He got it out to the 18-yard line, and that's where Florida State will begin. 14-9 the score. Florida State lost the toss and now has the option. They will take the football first in the second half. From the 18-yard line, their own 18, Carter in motion. McManus will hand off to Sammie Smith. Smith finds very tough going as he gets it across the 21. Out to perhaps the 22-yard line. Florida State in the trenches as Mark Salvo at center, a senior from Winter Park. Jason Kuipers and John Brown are the guards. Joey Ionata and Pat Tomberlin are the tackles. Tony Yeoman has been seeing quite a bit of action at offensive guard for the Seminoles in today's game. A gain of 3 by Sammie Smith will bring up second down and 7. Ball spotted right on the 21-yard line. Seminoles have been moving the ball effectively on the ground. Smith and Dexter Carter have broken long ones, as has Edgar Bennett. Ronnie Lewis and Herb Gainer, all the wide receivers. Pat Carter, the tight end, in motion. Second down, 7. Toss sweep comes to Sammie Smith. Finds a hole. He's to the 25 to the 30. Makes his cut to the outside. Sammie Smith to the 40, the 45, the 50. Sammie Smith down the sideline and is run out of bounds at the Florida 40-yard line. Sammie Smith found a crease to the right side, and it was off to the races for the big sophomore from Apopka.
And Jane, did he pick up some big blocks on that left side from Ionata and John Brown, and of course the lead block from Dane Williams as he just raced 39 yards.
Louis Oliver ran him out of bounds. He got the angle on him, and Oliver made the touchdown saving tackle as Sammie Smith was motoring. First down, 10, Florida State from the Gator 40-yard line. Second half just underway. Edgar Bennett late checking into the huddle. He'll replace Dane Williams from the 40-yard line. Minute gone in the third quarter. First down, 10, Florida State. And the handoff goes to Edgar Bennett. Bennett finds the going tough and is hit by the ankles and dropped as he got it to the 37-yard line. Clifford Charlton, senior outside linebacker from Tallahassee, made the tackle and dropped him.
An explosion on that last play has now put Sammie Smith with 9 carries and 78 yards. You're looking at the tape between the two Smiths. You're looking at Sammie Smith with 78 yards, and you're looking at Emmitt Smith with 89 yards and 15 carries.
Gain of 3 by Edgar Bennett, who was late getting into the huddle, and his number was called. Second down, 7 from the Gator 37-yard line. Ronnie Lewis and Herb Gaynor are the wide receivers. McManus will hand off to Edgar Bennett. Tries to get outside. Bennett's got the 35, and he's run out of bounds at the 33-yard line. Edgar Bennett with another gain of about 4 yards, and the Seminoles will face third down and 3. And the Seminoles will face third down and 3 from the Gator 33-yard line. Running backs are in the eye. Toss sweep goes to Sammie Smith. Looks for a hole. Sammie now tries to get outside. Runs into his own blocker. Gets to the 31. He'll be hit and dropped. And let's see if the Seminoles are going to bring in Derek Schmidt, who has accounted for all the Seminole points today, or if they're going to try to get the first down. They'll face fourth down in about 1.5 yards. McManus lines up in a hurry. Gators a little slow getting set defensively. Now they're ready. Play fake by McManus. He'll run the bootleg. McManus has the first down. He runs out of bounds at the 27-yard line. They had it set up, the fake and the bootleg, and McManus took it on his own and got the first down and some.
Excellent call that time from the bench. Everybody was looking for Sammie Smith on a little toss, and on that little fake to the right side, Danny McManus went backside 5 yards, first down.
Gain of 5 on the carry, and the Seminoles have it first and 10 at the Gator 26. Florida State deploys Lawrence Dawsey wide right, and to the near side, Terry Anthony. Running backs are in the eye. Dane Williams and Sammie Smith in motion. Pat Carter from the 26. Play fake. McManus wants to go airborne. Has plenty of time. Fires. Far sideline. Caught by Carter. Carter is going to be dragged down. He got it to the 22-yard line. And the Gators pound him back to the 25. Gain of 4 on the pass completion. McManus throwing all the way across the field from the near side hash mark to the far sideline. And Carter makes the catch. And for Pat Carter, his third catch of the game for 21 yards. His longest a 13-yarder. Second down, 6. The ball between the Gator 22 and 23. Anthony and Dawsey again the wideouts. Running backs line up in the eye behind Danny McManus. McManus hands off to Sammie Smith, makes a little cut, drags the tackler with him, gets it to the 21. So a gain of 2 by Sammie Smith. Clifford Charlton has been in on a lot of plays defensively for the Florida Gators, all SEC performer last year. 11:35 to go third quarter. The Seminoles took the opening kickoff of the second half, and they're moving the ball.
A little surprised that time that Danny did not check off. Gators were stacked up inside with 3 linebackers. They still try to run up in off that left guard.
Third down, 5 from the 21. They've got to get it to the 16 for a first down. Gaynor and Lewis are the wide receivers. Carter in the slot, now in motion from left to right. And McManus will drop back. The short drop gets the pass away. Incomplete, intended for Pat Carter. And he was pounded hard as the ball got there. Bill Lang, defensive back, hit him, and that'll bring up fourth down, and now the kick crew will come onto the field. Florida State has gotten 3 field goals from Derek Schmidt. He's missed 1. His longest a 53-yarder today, and that ties a school record. Incidentally, that block punt by Huey Richardson that set up the Gators' second touchdown of the game, the first block punt by the Gators since 1976 against Rice. This field goal attempt, the tee will be at the 27, a 37-yard effort by Schmidt. Airborne, plenty of distance, and it is good, and the Seminoles get 3 more. It is 14-12. Florida State trims the Gator lead to 2. Here's the kickoff by Richie Andrews. Left-footed kicker kicks it right to the 2-yard line. And Williams will bring it out. He's to the 15. He's to the 20. He's to the 23. And a penalty flag is thrown as he's cut down to the 23-yard line. John Weiss from Thomasville made the tackle, and he is injured and is flat on his tummy right now. That penalty flag thrown in the neighborhood of the 19-yard line, and it may be on the kick return unit of Florida. Florida State team physician Tom Haney hurriedly out to attend to the injured John Weiss. Florida State trailing Florida 14-12. Penalty on the opening or the kickoff after the field goal by Schmidt. And if it's against Florida, they'll begin deep in a hole. Field position has been a big problem for the Gators in the games they have lost this year. This penalty will be against Florida and moving half the distance to the goal line, and it'll be spotted at the 9-yard line. First down 10, Kerwin Bell ready to go to work. He'll hand off to Emmitt Smith. Smith's going to be bottled up as he got it to the 11-yard line and hit by Paul McGowan. McGowan really made a booming tackle as Emmitt Smith tried to hurdle the line of scrimmage. A gain of 2 by the freshman from Pensacola Escambia High School. He and Sammie Smith have quite a battle going. 10-16 left. Second down 8 Gators from the 11. Kerwin Bell. Toss sweep goes to Emmitt Smith. Smith looks for a hole. He'll be hit and dropped as he got to the 12. Odell Higgins from behind got to him and crunched him. And there were a bunch of Seminoles along with him. And that'll bring up third down and 7 as Smith gets to the 12-yard line.
Gowan was there. Shelton Thompson was there. Odell Higgins was there.
Well, you get a team backed up inside their own 10. You want to stop them there, don't you, Vic?
I'll tell you what they've done. They've taken away some of those seams that Emmitt has been able to find in the first half.
This is a very big play for Florida coming up right now. Third down, 7 from their own 12. Seminole showing a 4-man front. And Kerwin Bell's going to drop back and try to throw. Gets the pass away. Caught. The catch is made. And the tackle hit at the 18-yard line. Shy of a first down, I believe.
Oh, it's going to be close where they make that spot.
The line of scrimmage began this drive at the 9, and he's close to the 19-yard line. Seminoles are saying they've held.
Short.
Now
He's
the spot is going to be shy of the 19, and the Gators are going to have to punt it away. So the pass completion from Kerwin Bell to Willie Snead got him nearly enough for the first down, but they come up about a half-yard shy. And Herbert Perry will punt from his own 5-yard line. Seminoles have 10 of the line of scrimmage, and they look like they're going after it. 8:55 to go, third quarter, 14-12 score. High center snap, and he gets it away. A high knuckleball type kick. Sanders calls for the fair catch and makes it, and then a tackle is made and a penalty flag thrown immediately. Sanders put up the fair catch, and James Massey hit him. He fair caught it at the 44-yard line. Penalty flag thrown, and a 15-yarder is going to be marched off against the Florida Gators. Florida State's got it first down and 10 at the Florida 41-yard line. Moving toward our left. Dexter Carter and Dane Williams are the running backs of the pro set. Dawsey and Gaynor are the wide receivers. Dawsey in motion. And the handoff goes to Dexter Carter. Tries to find a little cut. Dexter Carter stays on his feet, and he gets it to the 36-yard line. He was knocked back to the 37. Let's see if they give him forward progress to the 36. If they do, a 5-yard carry by Dexter Carter. Webby Burnett made the initial tackle. A backup nose guard playing Jeff Roth at nose tackle.
Great block that time by Dane Williams on the linebacker Dickens, which allowed Carter to get in there.
Now Sammie Smith checks in. He'll be the tailback out of the eye behind Edgar Bennett from the 36-yard line of Florida. Second down 5. Bennett gets the call. He gets a big surge, and he gets it to the 30-yard line. Good second and third effort by Edgar Bennett, a freshman from Jacksonville Lee. And right up the middle he goes before Pat Moyer. Inside linebacker, a sophomore from Pensacola Escambia High School, can make the tackle. And that'll be a Florida State first down, a gain of 6 on the carry by Edgar Bennett.
And for Edgar, that was his 5th carry. Now picked up 27 yards.
7:48 to go, third quarter. Florida State trailing 14-12. They've got something cooking now from the Gator 30-yard line. First down 10. Dawsey and Anthony are the wide receivers. McManus with his running backs on the eye. Toss sweep to Sammie Smith. Looks outside. Makes his cut. Sammie Smith to the 25 to the 22-yard line. A gain of 8 by Sammie Smith before Maurer could drag him down again. And the Seminoles are starting to cook on that offensive line to the right side. Edgar Bennett and Sammie Smith are the running backs in the eye. Lewis and Anthony are the wide receivers. Hand off to Edgar Bennett. Finds a little crease, and he gets it to the 20-yard line. It should have another Florida State first down. Boy, Edgar Bennett really adds another dimension to that Seminole running attack, does he not, Vic?
He does that, and like I said a minute ago, the big difference between he and Butts and Williams is that quick acceleration that he has coming out of that backfield. Plus, he has tremendous strength. They've got him listed at 6'1", 200 pounds, but Gene, I think he's a little bit bigger than that.
Seminoles move the chain again. It is first and 10, Florida State at the Florida 20-yard line. Moving toward our left, 6.5 minutes to go in the third quarter, and trailing 14-12. McManus hands off to Sammie Smith. Looks for a little crease. He'll be hit and dropped as he got a yard, and that's all. He was hit initially by Rondi West at a junior tackle from Belle Glade.
Sammie Smith carries.
Bondi, the third leading tackler among the down linemen, with 48 hits coming into the ballgame. Among the leaders in quarterback sacks with 6. Clifford Charlton leads the entire Gator defense with 10 thrown for lost tackles and 5 quarterback sacks. Second down, 9 from the 19. McManus has him split in the pro set, with Tom O'Malley at tight end in motion from left to right. McManus will drop short. The pass across the middle, caught by Lewis at the 3-yard line.
Good looking crossing play, Gene.
And the Seminoles face first and goal from the 3 or the 2-yard line is where it'll be spotted. Dane Williams.
We all know where it's going, right, Gene?
13 touchdowns this season. Will line up in the eye behind Danny McManus from the 3-yard line. Hand off to Dane Williams. He goes to the 1. He's going to be hit and dropped. He got it to the 1-yard line. And that's the first time this year that anybody stopped Florida State's goal line from 3 yards or in. A 2-yard gain, and you got it very close to the goal line. And I'll guarantee you they're going to come right back that same way.
They're going to come back the same way, Gene. I think if he'd have gone in there when he made contact, had spun, he'd have gotten a 6, but he tried to overpower the tackler.
And Lewis Oliver credited with that tackle. It stopped him at the goal line. It is second and goal from inches away. 3 tight ends set right side. McManus hands off to Dane Williams. Touchdown, Florida State.
And the Seminoles go ahead for the second time in this ball game. They opened up with 3 points, Gene, and then they lost it. 14-3, they fell behind. But Florida State has now stuffed one in the end zone.
And Florida State appears to be going for 2. Danny McManus calls his offense back in there. They're going to go for 2, leading 18-14 with 4:50 to go in the third quarter. They got Edgar Bennett as the fullback. It's going to be a throwing play. From 3 yards away, the 2-point conversion effort. Hand off to Edgar Bennett. He hurdles. He gets the 2-point conversion.
Never would have called that play, Gene. They had 2 wide receivers to one side. They took Dexter Carr to put him on the wing. They had a wide receiver, the tight end split left, with only Bennett in the backfield, and they ran an inside trap.
And nobody got him till he got to the goal line. Edgar Bennett with a 2-point conversion, and that's his first points as a Seminole.
87 FSU at Florida. Guys, you finally take over the lead. What, 7 out of 8 running plays, Danny? Not through the air, through the ground.
As I told you, we just had to get Coach McDuffie to realize that the passing game wasn't on.
Okay.
Let these guys run, and the offensive line was just blowing their defense line off the ball. And when you make space like that, these guys find the holes and make the most out of it.
Well, we're joined now. We've got a 5th member of the team now. We're joined by Herb Gaynor. Welcome.
How you doing? I thought I'd show up a little bit. I found out it was Sammie's birthday today and bring him a cake. And I didn't like the way the first half was going, so I figured I'd come in on the second half and see if we contribute. See if we can get the offense jump started a little bit.
Mr. Smith, that I believe that's a 4.
40 years old. 20 years ago that we did this game. And about 60 pounds ago.
Brother, that can be said about all of us.
Yeah.
That can be said about all of us.
I think I might be able to beat you in a 40 now, Sammy.
I don't know, Dane. you was 4'9" at the weight you is now. Win-dated 4'9".
Herb, we hadn't talked much during the first half, and as you mentioned, it wasn't much to talk about. Receiver corps at Florida State. This was the beginning of some outstanding units that McManus and company could get the ball down the field to. Were you aware of what you were building there?
Oh, very much. I mean, we came in, they had the Fab Four actually came in after me, and I think that was one of the greatest assets of that 87 team is that we had a lot of depth. I mean, we had a bunch of 5th-year seniors, but we also had a bunch of younger guys getting ready to come on with Ronnie, Bruce Lassane, Terry, and Lawrence. So, I mean, I think we had a lot of depth, and Danny did a great job of teaching those guys with the other young quarterbacks.
And we'll get to the rest of you. We talked to Dane, but Sammy, I think you qualify as highly recruited out of high school, didn't you?
Yeah, I was pretty highly recruited. And like I said, that 85 class, when I decided to come to Florida State, we got guys just starting to sign. We all had the same vision, that we wanted to go to Florida State and help build a national powerhouse out of that team. And, we were all on the same path and, had the same goals. And, you look back, you had Pat Tomlin, again, Deion Sanders, Peter Tom Willis, Chip Ferguson, Odell Higgins. I mean, I could name tons of them, even in the first Florida Georgia All-Star game, high school All-Star game, I think we probably had about 10 players that were going to Florida State that year. So we were really proud of the guys that we signed, that year and the year or two after. And we knew that it was just a matter of time before we would be a national powerhouse.
One of the things I think that makes the FSU-Florida rivalry that much more intense is you guys played against and with a number of former teammates and former opponents. I mean, y'all all knew each other.
Well, certainly, and not only that, you also spent some time together over the summer, catching up. I spent a lot of time in Gainesville, visiting friends and ex-teammates, and so, I mean, it always brought that neighborhood rivalry. So it was something that was always interesting.
Any interesting conversations during the game about things like that?
Oh, always during the game there's interesting conversation. Not much for television, but no, it's definitely a heated rivalry that everybody knows. You grew up with these guys, and they're reading our paper, we're reading their paper. They know what's happening with us, and when you get on the field, it's 3 hours of war. And then after the game, we're all back being friends again. But for those 3 hours, no matter if it's in Tallahassee or if it's in Gainesville, it's a flat-out war.
Well, and we're going to return to the quote-unquote war. We're going to pick up with the last part of the third quarter, Florida State at Florida in Gainesville.
Very good, guys.
After a Gator punt, it's Seminole ball late in the third period.
It scored both possessions in this half. From the 40-yard line, first down 10. McManus hands off to Edgar Bennett. Bennett with a surge on the line gets it to the 45-yard line. Gain of 5 by Edgar Bennett. Huey Richardson made the tackle. Another thing, in looking at Florida's defense over the last couple of ball games, they don't play many players on defense. And late in the third quarter and the fourth quarter, they tend to tire a tad. I know that Bobby Bowden and the Seminoles are hoping that continues to be the case today. Hanging on to a 6-point advantage, 20-14 from the 45, second down 5. And McManus will hand off to Dexter Carter. Carter finds a little crease and crosses the 50-yard line. It'll be a Florida State first down as little Dexter Carter from Baxley, Georgia, gets a 6.5-yard carry to the Gator 49. They'll spot it just shy of the 48. Webby Burnett, a sophomore from Pensacola, made the tackle. A gain of 8 by Dexter Carter.
Randy White will check in, the senior out of Mariana, at one wide receiver position. They have Dexter Carter at tailback and Edgar Bennett at fullback.
And they are lined up in the I behind Danny McManus. O'Malley in the slot, the tight end in motion from right to left. From the 48, delay handoff to Dexter Carter, finds a little angle, makes his cut, gets a spin and gets it to the Gator 41, but a penalty flag has been thrown. And that generally is on the offensive team when the flag is thrown in the trenches. Webby Burnett excited and pointing toward the Seminole line, and it's going to be a march off against Florida State. Holding the infraction, a 10-yard march off against the Seminoles, and that'll help out the Gator defense.
thing now is just be very patient, not try to get it all back in one play.
Florida State offensive line has Salva at center. Yeomans and Brown are in there, along with Kuipers and Joey Ionata and Pat Cumberland. After the march off from the 41 of Florida State. Toss sweep goes to Dexter Carter. Tries to get outside, strips the tackler. He's to the 50. Dexter Carter to the 46-yard line. So he got the 10-yard penalty and some back on that carry. And Dexter Carter was dodging tacklers.
Gene, he picked up a big block downfield from Jason Kuipers, a junior out of Winter Haven. Gators slow getting up. 12 yards on that carry.
And Seminole head trainer Randy Orovitz was over there to help, and now the Gator trainers come onto the field.
Another man, a big block down there, Gene, was Ronald Lewis.
Lewis Oliver is the shaken-up Gator on the play, and he comes off with his right shoulder hanging low. Could be a shoulder injury. An 11-yard carry by Dexter Carter will bring up 2nd down and 9. So we got the penalty yardage and a yard more. And one guy to beat, and it would have been a foot race down the sideline. 1:23 left in the third quarter. Florida State 20, Florida 14. From the 47-yard line of Florida. Anthony and Lewis are the wide receivers. 2nd down, 9. McManus hands off to Carter. Carter finds a little crease to the 40. Carter spins, stays on his feet, and he's got the first down. He is to the 36-yard line. He is a water bug like lightning. He got through that hole.
And I know everybody's saying, wait a minute, we've been reading about Sammie Smith. Sammie Smith, all of a sudden, who's this number 13? Tell you who he is. That's Dexter Carter, and don't you forget it, 10 yards on that carry.
Now Dexter Carter will trot off to the sideline for a breather, and Sammie Smith checks in for him.
Well, I tell you, Dexter so far, 9 carries, 79 yards.
From the Gator 37, 1st down, 10 Florida State. Lewis and Anthony are the wide receivers. Edgar Bennett and Sammie Smith are the running backs, and the slot is Pat Carter. Handoff goes to Edgar Bennett. Bennett with a trap block gets it inside the 35 to the 34. Well, the going is tough in there. Rodney Weston made the tackle. 2nd down, 7. Toss sweep goes to Dexter Carter. Carter makes his cut. Carter is going to be hit and dropped to the 35, so he'll lose a yard on the carry. He was hit by Billy Lang, junior from Castleberry.
There's that defense, guys. They did show up.
Well, we knew it would be just a matter of time before those guys start to make big plays.
They're not represented here, so we have to help.
Yeah, they had been a tough defense all year. And, like you said, we had probably the best defensive player in the country in Deion Sanders. So we knew it was just a matter of time before they would step up and shut the Gators down and give us an opportunity to go ahead and win that game.
A lot of fun going against Deion in practice, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, we spend a lot of time going against each other. I guess probably about 3 to 4 years of every day you got somebody in your face, standing in your face, and there was never a break. I mean, sometimes they say the games were actually a lot easier, but not only with Deion, you also got Leroy Butler, Eric Williams, Martin Mayhew, Tracy Sanders. I mean, so there was never a break, and not only with Deion, but with the other guys. So practice was always a lot tougher than the games.
Guys, in a single word, single sentence, and again, Herb, we'll start with you. What brought you to Florida State? What was your mindset? What were you thinking when you got there?
I think it was just the atmosphere. My uncle, he was a Florida Gator. He had played Jimmy Dubose. He had played running back at University of Florida. So I had gotten a lot of pressure going to University of Florida. But I had a guy running back from my high school, Rosie Snipes, that signed a little earlier than I'd had, and he kind of got me interested in Florida State when I was a sophomore in high school. And I guess just before the day I had committed to Ohio State, and I was planning on going to Ohio State, and I took the last visit to Coach. They talked me to make him the last visit to Tallahassee, and caught me outside of Coach Bowden's house at about 10 o'clock at night and called me under the tree and called with my mom on the phone when I got outside. So actually I committed to Florida State at that time, and I had a very good friend in Mr. Strom he was a big Florida State guy back in my town, and he followed the sport, and I got a chance to work for him in high school, and he had a big influence, and just to be around that atmosphere and those people.
Larry's touched a lot of guys.
Oh yeah, very
Sammie,
much.
you've touched on it, but I mean, there really was a family atmosphere.
There definitely was. I can remember as probably a 15-year-old going up to Tallahassee to Bobby Bowden football camp, and I went 2 years straight, and just seeing the camaraderie of the same coaches you know, when it was my time to come out and go to college, seeing Coach Gladden, who, you know, is a very dear friend to me, and the guy that recruited me, and Coach Sexton, Coach Bowden, all, you know, just the stability of the program. I knew, you know, that I was going to go to Florida State. I can remember watching games when Sam Platt, I think, was a running back and had a guy, I think, Ricky Williams. And, you know,
those are guys I played with.
I was always.
In fact, Coach Gladden's gotten better at recruiting because he recruited me, and then he got better and recruited you.
But I saw, you know, like I said, I saw the opportunity to turn that program into a national powerhouse, and, you know, I just loved Florida State, and it was never any doubt in my mind where I was going to school at.
Dania. Do people still know where Dania is?
Oh yeah, we got highlight.
Okay,
Oh no, I just wanted to stay in the state of Florida. That was my biggest thing of coming to school. Was I was either going to go to Pittsburgh, where my brother was a coach, or to Florida State. And I went to Pittsburgh on a recruiting trip, and it was cold. I said, no, Coach Bowden, I'm coming to Florida State. So, and once you get to the campus and you see everything that's there, and like these guys talked about, you see the family atmosphere, that feel, and you feel comfortable there. And like Herb said, you know, when Coach Bowden has your mom on the phone, it's pretty much a done deal. Yeah. I mean, your mom comes off, says, yeah, you're going to Florida State.
By the way, that tree died. That's how old we are. Dane, you talked about walking on. You're crazy. Walk-ons can't make it in a program like that.
It was a tough one. You know, Florida State gives walk-ons a good shot, though. I mean, if you can play it, if you try and you keep being persistent, Coach Bowden likes the determination and competitiveness, and if you can show that, he doesn't care if you have a scholarship or not. I mean, we had some great walk-ons that came through the program. But I was fortunate enough to get a scholarship. He called my dad, and I think I heard a tear shed on the other side. It meant a lot to my parents. But you know, the reason I came to Florida State is Coach Bowden. Coach Bowden is Florida State.
Well, we're going to get a chance to talk about that. What we're going to do now is go back to the ball game. Florida State is up and trying to extend the lead against Florida.
Third down, 8, and a lot of noise as the Seminoles are right underneath the Gator students from the 35-yard line. McManus hands off to Dexter Carter, finds a block, makes his cut, gets it to Carter, still on his feet, and he's knocked backwards to the 31 or the 29. He got it up to the 28, and he'll be a yard shy of a first down.
Gene, it's decision time right now. You're in the range, especially with that wind, if there is any wind, in back of you. But it's fourth down. He picked up 7 yards on that carry. They're going to bring in the 2 tight ends and go for that first down.
It'll be fourth down and a yard, maybe a yard and a foot to go. The line of scrimmage will be the Gator 28-yard line. The Seminoles have 3 tight ends. They got Dane Williams. They need a yard and a foot. And the handoff goes to Dane Williams. He's got the first down and then some. and to get it a yard ahead, and he got 4 yards inside the Gator 25. Pat Moyer, inside linebacker, made the tackle. I don't know if it's a gamble anymore, Vic, when you go on 4th and 1 with those 3 tight ends and Dane Williams.
See, I tell you, as we've been talking about all year, it's been such a very simple play. Everybody knows who's coming. They know where it's going to go, who's going to get the ball, and what point of attack. And Florida State just picked up 4 yards with Dane Williams carrying the ball again.
First down 10, Florida State at the Gator 24. Double wide receivers Lewis and Gainer to the top part of the field. McManus hands off to Carter. Carter with a nice cut. Carter is going to be dropped as he got to the 15-yard line. So Dexter Carter has been the ball carrier and the hero of the 3rd and 4th quarter as he picks up a quick gain of 9 yards before Pat Penner can trip him up. I'll tell you, if Pat Penner doesn't get him by the ankle, he may squirt into the end zone. 13:36 to go in the ball game. Florida State leading Florida 20-14 and knocking on the door again from the Gator 16-yard line. Split back set by the Seminoles at the Gator 16. McManus looking at 2 wide to the left side. Handoff goes to Carter. Carter makes a nice little cut and gets it to the 15-yard line. A gain of a yard, and that's all. And the Gators defense stops him that time for a short gain. Will bring up 3rd down and a yard to go. It had been 2nd and 2, I beg your pardon, and now it's 3rd and 1.
And here comes the other 2 tight ends. Sammie Smith will check in, but everybody knows Sammie's not going to carry the ball.
And with 12:52 to go, the Seminoles face 3rd down and a yard. They've got Dane Williams at fullback and Sammie Smith at tailback. 3 tight ends to the right side with Tomberlin over there as well. Handoff goes to Dane Williams. He's got the first down. He needed a yard, and he got 2. So the ball will be spotted squarely on the 13-yard line. Pat Moyer, who has been a very active inside linebacker for Florida today, credited with yet another tackle. It'll be 1st and 10, Florida State. And the ball will be at the Florida 13-yard line. 12:34 left of the game. Florida State 20, Florida 14.
Fans are reminded to stay off the playing field after the game.
12:25 to go in this ball game. Florida State out front, 20-14.
Thank you.
And the Seminoles line up in the eye with Dane Williams and Sammie Smith behind Danny McManus. A wide out to either side, handoff to Dane Williams, and the fullback gets it to the 10-yard line. Spinning for that extra yard, a gain of 3.
Williams carries.
Well, going is tough inside against Florida. They lead the SEC in stopping the rush, allowing just 116.5 yards a game. That is 11th in the country. Defensively, giving up just 254 yards a game, 8th in the country. Florida State now with a 2nd down 7 situation at the Florida 10, moving toward our right, toward the southern end zone at Florida Field. Running backs are in the eye. And the toss sweep comes to Sammie Smith. Finds a little crease. Keys on his feet to the 5, to the 3, to the 1-yard line. Sammie Smith. It'll be 1st and goal, Florida State. And that was just 2nd and 3rd effort by Sammie.
And he picked up another great block on the outside from Dane Williams leading that play.
And a penalty.
There is a flag down. There should have been a flag down because Sammie was hit after he was on the ground.
Well, they say that his knee hit at the 2-yard line. That would be enough for a 1st down. A gain of 8 by Sammie Smith. And he is very close to 100 yards in the ball game. Personal foul on Florida, a late hit. It'll be half the distance to the goal line. The Seminoles will have 1st and goal from the 1-yard line.
Well, guess what, Gene? There's a lot of tight ends in there, 3 of them. They're going to line up in an I formation. The set will be to the right side, and we know who's going to get the ball.
11.5 minutes to go in the ball game. Florida State 20, Florida 14, and the Seminoles knock on the door. They're a yard away from the 2nd touchdown of the game. McManus ready to go to work. 3 tight ends right side. Dane Williams, the fullback. He's going to get the call. Barrels over the right side. He'll be stopped shy. He's still digging, and he's about an inch or 2 shy of the goal line. It'll be 2nd down and goal from right there. And that time the Gators stuffed it nicely. Webby Burnett among those last to get up, along with Pat Moyer, and Moyer is going to be a tired man at the end of this one. And the ball is about 6 inches away from the goal line, maybe a foot. McManus ready to go again. They're going to come right at him to the right side. McManus to Dane Williams. He hurdles. He scores the touchdown. And the Seminoles extend their lead to 26-14.
But Gene, on the play before that, Yeomans got defeated. On this play, Yeoman says, forget it. I'm going in, and he just drilled the man in front of him right back into the end zone.
Dane Williams, again, his second touchdown of the game, and the Seminoles are going to go for 2. 26-14 with 10.5 minutes to go in the game. Well, the Seminoles went for 2 and scored with Edgar Bennett taking it in the last time. It's 26-14. The Seminoles are up by 12, and they're going to try to make it a 14-point advantage with a 2-point conversion here. They'll spot it at the 3-yard line, far side hash mark. And Danny McManus will probably go airborne here. He drops back a couple of steps, looks toward his right, fires, across the middle, catch made, 2-point conversion. Herb Gainer made it. And now the Gators have got to score 2 touchdowns in 10:36 to tie the thing. Here's the kickoff, and again, the freshman sends this one long. It will be returned by Simmons. He fields at the 2. He's to the 10, to the 15. Makes his cut to the outside. He fumbles the football. Diving for it. Loose football recovered by Florida's feet. Simmons tried to return, and the Seminoles recover at the 27-yard line. Sanders around the ball, and so is Leroy Butler. Freeman comes up with the ball. He may have been the guy that picked it up off the turf. So the penalty helps the Seminoles. Galen Hall's going to be an unhappy man. They took the penalty, tried to get the return, and Stacy Sembles fumbled.
Trying to pick out who made that hit in there. Number 49, Kevin Grant.
And the Seminoles going to try to capitalize on the first Gator turnover of the game. The line of scrimmage, the Florida 27-yard line. 10:25 to go in the game. McManus will hand off to Dexter Carter, and Carter looked like he lost the handle on it for a moment, held onto it, and was punished as he loses a couple of yards. He'll be stopped at the 29. 28-14 the score. Florida State leading. Handoff goes to Dexter Carter. Looks for an angle, makes his cut. He's going to get it to the 26-yard line, and he is really hammered by Jarvis Williams. The little guy weighs about 160 pounds, and Williams picked him up and threw him down after a gain of 3.
Well, this will put Florida State into a passing situation.
Clock on the side of Florida State, so I would imagine that only on 3rd down and long will the Seminoles think about going airborne. 9:26 to go in the game. 28-14, Florida State leading. Trying to win their 10th game of the year. Headed for the Fiesta Bowl, ranked number 3 in the country. Danny McManus from the 26 on 3rd down and 9. Delay handoff, it goes to Carter, and he stopped at the 30. Fooled nobody. Rondi Westford was there and made the tackle. And a loss of 4 on the carry, and Derek Schmidt, who has kicked 4 field goals today, will check in and try for a 5th field goal. He is 4 out of 5 today, and the tee will be between the 36 and the 37. Call this one a 47-yard field goal from the far side hash mark. Has only missed a 38-yarder today. Good center snap. The hold by McManus. The kick is a bad kick. Got under it too far, and it's no good. So the turnover doesn't hurt the Gators, as the Seminoles cannot convert. 8:34 left in the game. The score, Florida State 28, Florida 14.
Well, you did finally get in there.
I did. They were stacking like 7 or 8 people on that side of the ball trying to stop that play. But we had the offensive line and the generosity of people leaving it on the 1 and 2 yard line for me.
Well, now, wait a minute. We got to talk about now, Herb, you got the 2-point conversion.
Yeah.
Okay. But y'all didn't get very many touchdowns, and Coach Eason was all over y'all sometimes about that.
Oh, man, that was the biggest joke in our meeting room was that, okay, guys, you fight and get it close as you want, but then you'll read about Dane on Sunday mornings. He said, so if you get it down there, you better get it in the end zone. If you don't get it in the end zone, just be ready to read about Dane on Sunday. So, so that was always the joke among the wide receivers, that we knew if we got close, you better get it in, and that was your shot. You get one shot.
Danny would be waving me off. I coming on the field. Danny's like, just going back.
I could see it right. I mean, didn't have to look over for the signal. I see Coach Scott over there. I said, I know what's coming. So we just get right in the huddle, and everybody in the park knew it was going to Dane.
They still run the play. They still run it today. It's a great play.
Let's catch our viewers up. Danny, we'll start with you. You played 417 years in the CFL.
Yeah, I finally just stopped. I enjoyed the game. I enjoyed being around guys like this, getting to talking football, but I also enjoyed the competition. But finally, I said enough's enough. I'm going to go
17 years?
17 years in the Canadian Football League, and now I'm going to just switch over to the other side, join you a little bit.
Don't get too good.
Yeah, no, going to do color commentating for TSN. And going to commentate on CFL football games this year, and looking forward to that.
How many yards?
Over 50,000. I can't count. It's over 50,000 yards.
You and Flutie.
Yeah, me and Flutie.
You played against Flutie.
Yes.
And what about Warren Moon?
No, Warren had just left before I got there. Yeah. Warren had just left. So, right now I'm sitting at number 2 all-time passing Canadian League behind Damon Allen, which is Marcus Allen's brother, and then Doug's a few down. So it's been a great career. I can't complain. I really have not had a job yet. I've still just been playing, just kind of reminiscing like we've done today. It's fun to play the game of football.
Sammie, catch us up with you. Your life, ups and downs, and you're very committed about making it up the rest of the way.
Yes, I've had quite a bit of trials and tribulations, but, I wouldn't trade any of the things I've had to go through to get me to where I am today. I'm a happy young man today.
Well, not so young.
40 is the new 30. Yeah, I'm a happy young man. I've, recently remarried 3 years ago. I've got a 3-month-old daughter and inherited a 7-year-old son now. That's like mine. And just staying real busy, involved in Lake County with real estate. Where I live, I'm doing some real estate ventures now, and just try to reach out and touch kids as much as I can today to share with them some of my experiences and to try to lead them into a better way of life and a better understanding of what it takes to be successful in this day and age.
And we've touched on it before, but again, personal to me, personal to you, Coach Jim Gladden. I mean, he really has been a big part of your life as with me. Is there a more quality guy other than Coach Bowden out there than Jim?
I don't think so. I'd be hard pressed to find anyone more quality than Jim other than my dad. Coach Gladden was like a second dad to me. Through everything I've always had to persevere and go through, I could always depend on Coach Gladden and Coach Bowden, the whole Florida State staff, and just the Florida State alumni. Just that feeling of always having a place to go when you need somewhere to go, or a shoulder to lean on. That's the thing that I'll treasure and always take with me, the experience of having played football at Florida State.
Dane, we're the ones left out here. I mean, we've got a 3-month-old, a 3-month-old, an 18-month-old. You can do my song. I ain't got to do that no more.
I'm done. I have a 11-year-old boy, a 9-year-old girl, and a 5-year-old boy. So I think I'm throwing in the towel.
Well, I thought that too, Dane.
See, me and Sammie did the same
I
thing.
thought that too. I've got a 20-year-old daughter. Well, she'll be 20 in September, freshman in college, and I thought I was finished too.
Yeah. I have a 13-year-old daughter, so I thought I was done too.
Well, I beat all you. I got a 24-year-old son that just got his master's degree from Florida State. So.
He always dressed nice, always had the academic side. I mean, what is it with this guy?
I got my son actually, he just got his master's degree from Florida State.
Excellent.
And my oldest son, and I also have a 7-year-old, and he's the quarterback of my flag football team, and we about 22-0 now, so I got to get a few tips from Danny on him. He's going to be the next quarterback up there in about 10 years, and I also have a 6-year-old daughter. So
excellent. Well, when we come back, we're going to finish up the game that we're viewing. We'll get some of your guys' parting thoughts. Florida State begins the dynasty. Florida State at Florida, 1987.
Seminoles ready to go. Danny McManus from the 16. Toss sweep to Dexter Carter. Carter finds a little daylight. Gets it to the 27-yard line. Penalty flag thrown, however, right at the line of scrimmage. Well, Dexter Carter, with that great speed of his and the angle, got the first down, but it may be called back. And the Seminoles are pointing toward the Gators. It may have been offsides on the defensive side.
If that holds up, that will put Dexter Carter over 100 yards.
And the penalty declined by Florida State. An 11-yard pickup by Dexter Carter.
Well, everybody was talking about the Smith brothers coming in, or the Smith boys coming in. The man that stole the show today is Dexter Carter.
6:47 left to go in the ball game. Florida State leading 28-14. First down, 10 Seminoles at their own 27-yard line. Running backs out of the pro set. Pat Carter in motion from left to right. Handoff goes to Edgar Bennett, the fullback, tries to get outside, makes his cut upfield to the 32, to the 33-yard line. Edgar Bennett getting a gain of 4 or 5 yards. Clifford Charlton, a senior out of Tallahassee, made the tackle. 6:22 left to go in the game. 5-yard gallop by Edgar Bennett. And those running plays use up about 35 to 40 seconds of play.
Well, they sure do. I guarantee you that. 6:09 to go left in this ball game.
Second down 5, a long 5 facing Florida State. We're under 6 minutes now. 5:58 to go in the ball game. Anthony and Dawsey are the wide receivers. Toss sweep comes to Dexter Carter, finds a little crease, and he lunges and gets it to the 34. So a gain of about 1.5 yards by Dexter Carter. Going tough that time as the Gators stuff the sweep to the left-right side. Mark Murray, freshman linebacker out of Apopka, made the stop. 5.5 minutes left as the third-ranked Seminoles move toward our right and try to win their 10th game of the season. Third down 4. Toss sweep, Dexter Carter the other way. Carter tries to string it outside, makes his cut. He's got the first down to the 41-yard line. Little Dexter Carter following the blocker, waiting for the crease to open, and then he explodes through with great quickness. And the Seminoles move the sticks again.
And I tell you what, that young man has really put on a show today, but what a tremendous show he's put on with some excellent blocking up front.
Well, Dexter Carter needs a breather. And he goes to the sideline. Randy White checks in, and I don't think the Seminoles have another running back in there. Let's see if Sammie Smith got the call. And Florida State now has only one running back, or he's in the slot. Well, Carter's still in there as a slot man. First down, 10 Florida State. Handoff goes to Edgar Bennett, makes a nice cut, and the freshman gets it to the 45. 3 hard-earned yards by Edgar Bennett. Joey Nicoletto, inside linebacker, and Billy Lang, a junior defensive back out of Castleberry, made the tackle. Second down 7. Sammie Smith at a tailback, and he'll get the call. Sammie tries to get outside, makes a nice little cut to the outside. He's to the 50, makes the cut to the 46-yard line. Boy, that was vintage Sammie Smith. He went outside with a nice little hip wiggle and then got the afterburner going and ran by one would-be tackler. Sammie Smith will move the chains again with a long run of 9 yards. And Sammie Smith now goes over 100 yards.
Doctor number 828.
Team with 3:54 to go in the ballgame. A little trivia question to you. There is a magic number that Florida State has always won on. The magic number is the 10th game of this series. They won. They won the 20th game of this series. And now this is the 30th game of this series. And right now they are leading.
First down, 10 Florida State from the Gator 46. Handoff goes to Sammie Smith, and Smith is cut down at the line of scrimmage. Got very little. Danny McManus trying to throw a block as he saw a blitzing linebacker. Rondy Weston made the hit for no gain. It'll be second down and 10. Florida State with 3.25 minutes left to go in the game, leading 28-14, and some fans in orange and blue have started to head toward the exits. Florida State hanging on to the ball and keeping it exclusively on the ground in the third and fourth quarter, coming from behind by a 14-9 margin. And Danny McManus ready to go on second down 10. Play fake on a bootleg, and McManus is going to be sacked at the 45, his own 45. As that bootleg fooled nobody. He was rolling to his right, and I don't think executed the fake very well. Now using Florida State. Tom O'Malley checks in. Seminoles had Bruce Lassane and Lawrence Dawsey in that last play. So on third down and 20, I would imagine the Seminoles aren't going to get fancy and try to burn anybody long. McManus from his own 45-yard line. Toss sweep comes to Sammie Smith. Smith gets to the outside, makes his cut behind blockers to the 50, to the 48-yard line. So he got about 8 yards of the 10-yard loss back. Took a big, long, deep breath there. Gets a good center snap and gets the kick away. A wobbly type thing. Ernie Mills will make the catch, call for the fair catch at the 15-yard line. But right now things are looking pretty good in the land of the Seminole.
Gee, and I think that fat lady's about ready to stand up.
From the 15-yard line, Kerwin Bell will operate from the shotgun. The Gators have all 3 timeouts left. Nearly a high center snap. Kerwin did a good job of bringing it down. Pass to the sideline. Catch made by Sneed. And he's just shy of a first down, I believe. From a second down, about a foot to go. Less than a foot to go. Bell out of the shotgun. Gets an easy center snap that time to handle. Under pressure. Gets the pass away, and it's incomplete. Kerwin Bell, at quarterback. His final game at Florida Field, hands the ball off to Emmitt Smith, and Smith is going to be cut down as he got to the 30-yard line. He'll get a 5-yard gain and a Gator first down, which will stop the clock with 1:02 left. From the shotgun, Kerwin Bell from his own 30 looks and now is under pressure. He is going to be sacked and hit. He was tackled by Kevin Grant. And the Seminoles turn on the second quarterback sack of the game, third quarterback sack of the game. With 50 seconds to go, the Gators burn a timeout. Second down and 21 after an 11-yard loss. Will go out of the shotgun and want to throw. Now he's flushed out of the pocket, rolling toward his right, fires it downfield. He's got Odom. He makes the catch at the 44-yard line, and he's hit and popped hard by Deion Sanders. Boy, Sanders really rung his chime. First down, 10 Gators, 41 seconds to go in the ball game, and Kerwin Bell's all set to go from the shotgun. Drops back to throw, looks downfield, has protection, gets the pass away, and it is caught at the 49 of Florida State. Shelton Thompson checks in. Seminoles have a 4-man rush. And Kerwin Bell out of the shotgun, flushed out of the pocket, rolls toward his right, fires it back across the middle. A catch made by Williams. He's hit and dropped as he got it to the 41-yard line. They'll give him forward progress to the Seminole 39. And the Gators do a good job of protecting Kerwin Bell. Bell wants to throw near sideline, incomplete. Intended for Frazier. And Deion Sanders covering. He was looking for the pickoff. 11 seconds left. Out of the shotgun, Kerwin Bell. Good center snap. Drops back and wants to throw it long. Downfield. It is caught. And a great catch it was at the 14-yard line. Decker off Vic Prenzi at Florida Field. 2 seconds left. Final play of the game. Seminoles lead 28-14. They'll win this one. Kerwin Bell over center. Seminoles threaten blitz, and here they come. They pick up the blitz nicely. Kerwin Bell toward the end zone. It's incomplete. And the Seminoles win 28-14. Florida State 10-1 and headed toward the Fiesta Bowl.
And Tane, the drought is over. Florida State has finally turned it around, and it's got to be a very happy Bobby Bowden.
And Bobby Bowden meeting Galen Hall at midfield. They'll shake hands and talk momentarily, and a very happy Bobby Bowden will be surrounded by media as the Seminoles have defeated the Florida Gators. 28-14, the final score.
Well, guys, the Gator streak's broken. It ends at 6. It ends at 6.
Finally.
That was a nice little wind down of the clock out there on the field. Seeing that go down and seeing our fans going nuts in the end zone. It's something that I know that I've been looking forward to seeing after so many years of getting beat by him. But just to see the fans going crazy and you see the guys on the sidelines all excited about it. This was almost like a bowl game for us, but then we knew that there was something bigger coming up.
But there wasn't a better place to beat the streak than at the Swamp. I mean, that was nice to do it on their field. And then we go on our little streak after this.
Well, we know that he's been playing for the last 17, 18 years. Now got to get a real job. Catch us up to speed on what you've been doing, Dane.
Well, I had to get a real job a little sooner than Dan. After I got cut by the Giants, after a cup of coffee, I decided that I needed to start a career. So I got into the business world and still have a lot of strong Florida State connections that helped me get started. I'm Bob Goen, who was the athletic director when we were there. His son started a business with me, along with Jimmy Hewitt, which has been a long supporter of Florida State, his son, Ben Hewitt. We started a HR outsourcing company over 10 years ago. It's been very successful. We were blessed. Great lifestyle in Orlando and staying close to the family.
Excellent, excellent. Herb, how about you? Catch us up to speed.
I've been in the car business probably about the past 14 years with Toyota as a finance manager, and then probably about 8 years ago opened up a pre-owned car dealership. So I've been there for 8 years, and just about a year or two ago opened up another location. I do a little window tinting and car rentals. So I've been in the business about 8 years now, and ultimately I've applied now, and I'm waiting to hear from General Motors to get the dealer development and hopefully get a minority dealership, car dealership. So I'm working with General Motors, and hopefully one day I'll own my own, maybe Chevrolet or Buick dealership.
You need to visit with Leroy. I think he has gotten involved or is familiar with that.
Well,
Leroy
I didn't know.
Butler.
I've been talking with him.
Well, you can I'll charge you a small consulting fee.
Oh, okay.
Guys, you look back and we're now X number of years and pounds removed from our time at Florida State. Something we love to do and always do here in Gridiron Greats is get your thoughts about the experience and specifically about Coach Bowden. Sammie, we'll start with you. What is it about this old fat guy that is so phenomenal?
Well, the number one thing is he's a winner. And that's what he teaches his players, is to never give up, regardless of what you're faced with or what adversity you're faced with, to always pick it up and to keep going and to keep pressing forward. And I had the opportunity to see Coach Bowden here a couple of weeks ago in Apopka as he does his annual golf tour and, booster club deal. And I hadn't seen him in, probably 5-6 years. And just to see his face and to see the rejuvenation of this upcoming season, to know that, he's putting stuff together that's going to turn our program around, it's just awesome that he's still doing it 20 years later, what he was doing when we were there.
Yeah. Herb?
I think with Coach Bowden, I always respected his vision and his ability to change. I kind of think about that from the time when our class came in, the class of '83. At that time, they weren't redshirting a lot of freshmen. They were waiting until your second year. However, when our class came in, I kind of heard a conversation one time with coaches talking, and they were talking about the way Nebraska were doing it, with redshirting everybody. When you come in, you were throwing a red shirt on. And he got almost our entire class to buy into that. In '83, Danny, and by the time our senior year rolled around in '87, we were playing with about 17 or 18 fifth-year seniors. And during that time, it got an opportunity to let the younger guys catch up. And with the influx of the good young talent like Sam and them, along with playing with a bunch of fifth-year seniors, I think that gave us a big advantage. And that's what I've always seen him, even going on this year when he was able to adapt and change the staff around. So I think with Coach Bowden, it's always finding that edge and being able to change and see a vision and a direction. And I think that was the biggest thing with coaches.
Danny, lessons learned, lessons taught?
I tell you,
Dane.
That's all right. I thought Danny was going to go first. Yeah.
No, I'll give you a shot. Go ahead.
I tell you, Coach Bowden means the world to me. I mean, Coach Bowden, when I remember growing up watching Bear Bryant at Alabama and how much of a legend he was, and to know that I played for an equal legend is special. I mean, Coach Bowden is all about relationships. It's about relationships while you were playing, and it's about relationships after you're done. And he doesn't forget you. And you can call him up, and you'll get a return phone call. Quick story with Coach Bowden is a couple years ago, a few years ago now, 6 years ago, I take my youngest son down there on Sunday after the game, try to get him on the field, and it was locked up. We never had the facility locked up when we were there. Anybody could go in there. And I told him, he was all disappointed that we couldn't get in. And when I was walking to the car, Coach Bowden comes to get this film on Sunday morning, and he sees us, and he takes, on his way to church, and he takes us up to his office, spends 30, 45 minutes with my son, and then he gives me the keys and says, go play with your son, and then when you leave, just drop him by the house. It's family at Florida State, and that's the difference at Florida State than a lot of other colleges. It's not a coach that turns over every 5 years. It's family, and he's other than my father, he's the second most influential man in my life.
I think that's what all these guys are saying, is that he's like another father to us, and he's really not a coach. He's someone that you can go talk to. His door is always open, and he just knows when to say the right stuff and how to say it. He said to me a long time ago, he says, you got to understand about the media. The head coach and the quarterback get too much praise when we win. We get too much of the blame when we lose. Okay, stay even keeled. Don't let guys see you too high. Don't let guys see you too low. And these guys will go to war for you. And I've been able to use that not only on a football field, but in life in general. Just keep everything. You're going to have peaks and valleys, But as long as you keep an even keel, things are going to work out for you. And I take that from him as getting us all on the right track to understand what it is to be in life.
Well, I mentioned old and fat, Coach, I'm sorry, but we're going to add to it because we're going to leave you guys knowing that Florida State has begun the dynasty. We're going to enjoy the cake and celebrate 40 years of Sammie Smith. You stay tuned because you never know when we're going to show up on Gridiron Greats.